Here's an interesting thing. Fed up, Jack Trumpet Gerd had his daughter Alice, 19, charged with criminal damage because she threw a chocolate pudding at him at their home in Norwich and smashed a vase worth just £5. Can you believe he took her to court of this? The case has cost taxpayers £1,000, as he didn't relent until it had been to court not once but twice. A police spokesperson said that all crimes must be investigated regardless of cost. Well, on the surface, this does seem to be a case of using a sledgehammer to crack a walnut, but then again, perhaps the poor bloke had no option. I mean, if your offspring are so unruly that no domestic means of punishment seems to do the trick, then what do you do? Perhaps he's taken a firm hand. Well, I'm delighted to say that we are joined on the line now by the beleaguered parent in question, Jack Trumpy Gerd. Hey there, Jack.
Hello, Mark.
So, tell me, Jack, was the chocolate pudding throwing incident simply the straw that broke the proverbial camel's proverbial back, then?
Well, I could have put it better myself, Mark. I mean, our Alice is a barn pot. I mean, she could have had me eye out with that chocolate sponge, couldn't she?
Well, I mean, at the risk of being pedantic, no, not with a chocolate sponge. I mean, thinking about it, can't even hurt much, really, can it?
I beg to differ, Mark. I mean, if she'd have thrown the chocolate sponge at me and, say, it had bounced off a table, perhaps, and along the way got a big bread knife caught up in it and it hit me in the face, then it could have taken my eyes out easy.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what about your Alice, then? Is she a bit of a handful?
Oh, she's a right cow. I blame the parents.
You are a parent, aren't you?
Oh, aye. But no, it's my wife, Mark. She's a terrible mother, she's a terrible wife, and auntie, and the cook, and everything.
Yeah, okay, I get the picture. But why is she such a terrible parent?
Well, I tried to take her to court last week as well, Mark.
Why?
The dim cow only went and kidnapped my beloved daughter.
What, that, quote, silly cow of a daughter, Alice?
That's the one, Mark. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. She whisked her away. I had no option but to get Interpol involved, a massive manhunt ensued. Terrible business.
What, she kidnapped Alice and took her abroad?
Not exactly.
Well, where did she take her?
Quick save. I tell you, Mark, I was livid.
Quick save? I mean, how long were they gone?
For 2.5 hours, something like that.
Well, what made you think she'd kidnap your daughter?
Ah, the suspicious note, Mark.
Oh, I see. And what did this suspicious note say, then?
Well, I've got it here. Hang on, Mark, I'll read it to you. It says, gone to quick save with Alice, should be back in about 2.5 hours.
Well, what's suspicious about that? That's exactly what she did.
Yeah, but she's the devious cow, Mark. Do you know she intends to kill me? And I'm going to take her to court for that as well. I'll sue her arse off, I will.
Why, what's she done?
Well, Mark, in my very hands, I have evidence that she bought a deadly weapon this very morning with the sole intention of bumping me off.
You're joking. Yeah, what's she bought, then? A big gun or something?
No, a family-sized Mr. Kipling's Vanilla Ice sponge.
Right, well, call the cops.
Yes, now,
Indeed, sir.
now. Hey, I'll have this.
23 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing. Tearful Mike Tyson lost his cool again last night. Did you see this? Inquiry launched a 4-letter outburst at the men who will decide if he can fight again. Disgraced and banned heavyweight Tyson stunned American boxing chiefs, judging his claim for a pardon by storming out, whilst angrily declaring, "Why do I have to put up with this?" Expletive deleted all the time. Well, I think you have to put up with all this expletive deleted all the time because you're a psychotic and animalistic nutcase who recently bit the best part of Evander Holyfield's ear off whilst engaged in a highly lucrative boxing match with him. That's why. I mean, he's a volatile time bomb ready to explode at any minute. And I'm delighted to say that I fully intend to light the proverbial fuse right now. In-depth interview time as we are joined on the line from Washington, D.C. by the man himself, Iron Mike Tyson. Are you there, Iron Mike?
Hello, Mark.
Now then, you didn't do yourself any favours last night, did you, great big balmy wazzock lummox?
Not really, no.
Oh, right. I mean, are you thick, or what? These guys hold your future in their hands and you swear at them, talk about not the sharpest tool in the box, or what, you big girl's blouse?
Fair comment, I suppose. I mean, I am my own worst enemy, Mark. But then again, I'm not a brain surgeon, I'm a killing machine.
Killing machine? Don't make me laugh. You're more like a knitting machine, you big twonk.
Fair enough.
Right. So, if you've got to bite a bloke's ear off, right, then you're not that tough after all, are you, eh? Eh, you big Jessie?
I am quite tough, Mark. I mean, I could fight you, for instance.
Who say so, you rancid little pounce? How do you know that, you arrogant toad?
Oh, well, I'm only speculating. I suppose that was a bit rash of me, Mark, having never actually met you in combat. Sorry.
Yeah, but boxing's for morons, innit?
Well, I wouldn't wholly agree with that as a synopsis of what is a hugely popular sporting activity. And after all, Mark, the art of self-defence can be as graceful as ballet in the right hands.
There's cobblers.
I can see what you're saying.
Well, you're an ugly, gap-toothed, bone-headed, odious, short-ass get as well, aren't you, Mike? No offence, like.
None taken.
And I've snogged your girlfriend loads.
She's nice, isn't she?
Well, you do my head in you. Come on, get wound up, have a go at me or something, for goodness sake.
Sorry, Mark, I'm just not like that.
All right, fair play to you. Let's talk boxing then. Now then, if you get to fight Evander Holyfield again, how do you intend to make amends with him in that fight?
Well, by ripping his head off and crapping down his neck.
He's a reformed character. Thanks for joining us, Iron Mike.
See ya.
24 minutes past 3. Here's an interesting thing. By the year 2200, floods will engulf major towns and cities as Britain slowly sinks into the sea. A shock report by NP's claimed yesterday. Rising tides and increased rainfall are putting millions of homes at risk. Also, taking into consideration the eroding coastline, and you're looking at trouble for some areas of Britain in a couple of 100 years. So what, you might say? We won't be here to worry about it. But your great-great-grandchildren might be. And anyway, don't be so selfish, right? You're selfish. You make me never ceases to... Anyway, I got a bit carried. Never mind. You get my point, right? This is a worry, and we need to get it in check now. One man who agrees wholeheartedly with me on this matter is Professor Harvey Dispound, lecturer in precipitation at the University of East Anglia. Are you there, Professor?
No, Mark!
Now then, is this as big a problem as it at first seems?
It's bigger, Mark. I mean, I don't want to create hysteria, but by my calculations, we will all be under 80 feet of water in approximately 2 weeks.
Oh, you're flipping, eh?
Hang on, I should add that my calculations are usually way off the mark. I mean, I got a U in maths O-level, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Thank flip for that, you got me worried there.
But there still is cause for grave concern. Oh, pack it in, you silly cat. Thank God. Now then, on to business, Mark. All this so-called news is nothing new to me, Mark.
Really?
Really, yes, I tell you. Just think about this. We live on an island, right? An island that is precariously balanced, like most islands, on a central pivot. And any major movement of bulk from one area to another can lead to a catastrophic unbalance. And as a result, the lowering of one end of the landmass into the sea.
Cripes, this is all a bit frightening.
Oh, aye.
Can you give me an example of one such movement of bulk from one area to another?
Well, let's just say when Paul Gascoigne moved down to Middlesbrough from Glasgow Rangers, Bournemouth subsided over 6 feet in the space of Gazza's 2-hour journey.
You are joking. Yep. So, indirectly, Brian Robson is to blame for Bournemouth's plight.
Yeah, and Middlesbrough's.
Yeah.
No, but I tell you who has a much more responsible attitude to this problem.
Who?
That too fat lady. You know that fat cook off the telly?
Yeah, there's two of them, isn't there? That's why they're called two fat ladies.
Oh, see, I thought it was too fat. You know, T-double-O fat, because she's like too fat, isn't she? Aren't they?
Well, yeah, but what's the point? Anyway, what have they done that's so great?
Well, I believe the veggie burritos are yummy.
Oh, you divot. I'm talking about you calling them responsible.
Oh, aye. Well, you see, Mark, as we've already established, they're a right couple of biffers, and if they were to stay, for instance, in Brighton, the whole southern coast would become submerged by tea time.
Blimey.
Oh, but as they straddle a reinforced motorbike and sidecar and make teleprograms all over the place, they distribute the considerable weight all over Britain, and voila! No problemo.
Well done, ladies.
Yeah.
So what impending doom can you foresee at the moment?
Well, Mark, I'm sat here in Clacton-on-Sea, and I believe that, as we speak, the Pavarotti and Roy Chubby Brown Double Bill Roadshow is heading towards Margate. Now, once they cross the central pivot somewhere around Kettering, we're in lumber. Oh, blimey, Charlie, what's happening? Maureen, get me wellies. Oh, we're sinking. Oh, I'll have the...
Well, tragic news as it happens. Drowning in sound effects there. Thanks for joining us, Professor. Come with me. Good afternoon. It's 24 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing. In the latest edition of the new Oxford Dictionary, many of the newly recognised words have caused an uproar with academics and traditionalists who say words such as fwaw, rumpy-pumpy and bung have no place in the Bible of the English language. It's in all the papers today, must have seen it. Included in this, the most revered of reference books, are many words usually considered to be street or slang words, and in some cases, perhaps deemed by some to be offensive. For example, totty, described as girls or women collectively regarded as sexually desirable. And even the word lunchbox isn't there for a man's genitalia. But the question must be asked, where will it all end? I mean, surely some things are sacred. Surely we can't willingly accept any half-baked street slang coined by some Jack-the-Lad barrow boy into the hallowed realms of the Oxford English Dictionary. But on the other hand, perhaps this is the establishment keeping its ear to the ground and moving with the times. Well, the man who agrees with this latter philosophy is Timothy Postot, a lecturer in English language at Oxford and an active member of the English Dictionary Board. Are you there, Tim?
Hello, Mark.
So, what do you say to people who suggest that these new inclusions are inappropriate additions to the English language?
What do I say to them?
Yeah.
I say, pick off, that's what I say, chuffling, wibbling, ring pieces, a lot of them, that's what I say.
Right.
I mean, I can rattle on using long words with the best of them like soft lad, but I choose to live in the real world with all the slags and mincy men.
Mincy men? What are mincy men when they're at home?
Well, you're a mincy man, Radcliffe, but it's no use looking up in the dictionary just yet, because I've only just made it up. But give it a couple of years and I'll have it in, bish bosh, right in there.
Right, okay,
Right.
mincy man, right,
Yeah.
So would the definition read, mincy men, intelligent and good-looking member of the media world who, despite being fawned over by the intelligentsia, still mingles with poor people, something like that?
Not quite, no, just say something like mincy boy, crump, or nobble scrap.
Crump or nobble scrap? Talk English, will you?
Ah, now got you there, Radcliffe. You're as bad as the rest of them. If you don't understand it, sat there in your cosseted BBC semi-existence, then it doesn't exist. You're a raving kelp welver and no mistake.
You're just making this up as you go along, you are.
Listen here, full stonk. Nobody understands Shakespeare, but he does all right.
I understand Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course I do. Go on, test me.
Right, okay then. A typical piece of Shakespeare gobbledygook that don't mean nowt to no biggie boggy. Hang on. Is this a dagger I see before me? Go on then, sort that one out.
But it's obvious, isn't it? I'm not even going to bother with that.
Yeah, you're so full of chub scalp it makes me loogle.
Look, I'll tell you what, Timothy, I reckon it's who's full of chub sclef.
Chub scalp.
Sorry, chub scalp, because you quite patiently don't understand the English language. And anyway, as far as I can make out, these new words you're bandying about are no more than made-up swear words and abuse.
Cribnots.
You may well say cribnots,
Sure did.
but to use such a large amount of swear words and profanities in any situation merely shows you up to be inarticulate and inept when it comes down to the mastery of the English language. People only swear when their meagre vocabulary lets them down, and swearing is the only pathetic tool they can use to berate their more eloquent verbal opponent.
You're talking through your pelt cop and in, may I say, an almost anti-disestablishmentarianism kind of a Bo Scobblewest.
Oh, for goodness sake, Timothy. Oh, off, you silly
Well, there's nothing wrong with a woman having two men. Every woman should have at least two men. If you don't, there's something wrong.
Right, it is 23 minutes past 3, and I tell you what, here is an interesting thing, right? Dozens of occult enthusiasts phoned a West Country shop owner after they mistook his bike ad for a call to start a Waco-style cult. John Tassan, 25, of Newquay, wanted mountain bikers to join his cycling club and hoped his advert would tickle their offbeat humour. It said, "I am the demonic master of Shredtopia. Fat tyres are the lifeblood of the soul. Go forth and nail the trails of my disciples of dirt." But strange phone calls came flooding in as a result of the advert. "We thought the religious overtones would make it a bit eye-catching," said John. "We didn't realise there were so many weirdos out there." Well, from the nerve centre of Hades that is Newquay, here's the devil come mountain bike salesman himself, John Tassan. Are you there, John?
Hello, Mark.
Hello. Now then, John, have you had any more trouble with these cult devil barn pots then?
Oh, hi, Mark. It's been terrible. I mean, they got the wrong end of the stick completely. I mean, I'm not the devil. I have no mystical powers.
Oh, I know what you mean. I mean, you're a chuffing shopkeeper, for God's sake.
Don't say that word in my presence.
Oh, blimey, what? God?
No, shopkeeper. I prefer the title Emporium Manager.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You will be.
Sorry?
Nothing. Carry on. I'm only joking.
Right, okay. So, how do the locals view this story about you being the devil, then?
Well, they think it's a riot, Mark. I mean, they know me too well to take any of that stuff seriously. Oh, hang on, Mark.
2 sheep's heads for Mr. Tyson.
Yeah, put them over there.
What, next to the upside-down crucifix and the naked lady?
Yeah, that'll do, lovely. Right, sorry, carry on, Mark.
I'm sorry, John. Did I hear right? Did I hear him say sheep's head, naked lady, and upside-down crucifix?
No, Mark, you didn't hear a thing, and you remember nothing.
Right, where was I? Oh, yeah. Hello, are you there, John?
Oh, give me strength.
So, what does your wife reckon to all this, then?
Well, I've not asked her. She's a bit tied up at the moment.
What, on the shop floor?
Yeah, literally. You all right, love?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
She loves it, you know. My lad thinks it's hilarious.
Oh, you've got a son, right. What's his name?
Damien.
Flippin' heck, what's going on there?
Oh, the lad's just having a bit of a party. Oi, Damien, turn that music off and stop rotating your head 360 degrees. If the wind changes, you'll stop like that. Don't you be so cheeky. Hey, kids, who'd have 'em, eh, Mark?
Do you think you have a strange mystical power over normal people, John?
No more than the next man, Mark. Manchester United are the greatest, aren't they, Mark?
Yes, John, they are.
And Michael Bolton looked better with his old mullet hairstyle, didn't he, Mark?
I agree with you, John.
And you will play the Lighthouse Family's Lifted song for me next, Mark.
I f***ing won't, you know. And road rage, it's 24 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing, right? We were talking about this earlier, and I'm glad to say we've got an expert on the line now. In case you missed it, smokers are more work-shy than non-smokers, says a report, and should have their pay docked for fag breaks, say colleagues. The same can be said of tea, with the infamous tea break being one of the main offenders when it comes to loss of man hours. In a recent report, it suggested that smokers expect colleagues to turn a blind eye to the odd ciggy break because it's an addiction, and they're not able to go for hours on end without having a fag. But surely this is no excuse at all. It means some people are addicted to sex. Should we therefore allow them 10 minutes in every hour to indulge in a spot of slap and tickle? I think not. Similarly, some people are addicted to alcohol. Should they be allowed to go and have 6 pints of white cider during working hours? I wouldn't have thought so. Lard likes to cruise public lavatories nearby, you know. I mean, should he be allowed? Where is he? He's gone to the toilet. Well, what do you know? See, I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Now, joining me on the line is the instigator of this recent report, Bernard Bashist Fastard. Are you there, Bernard?
Hello, Mark.
And now then, have we been too lenient with the workers all these years?
Of course we have, Mark. They've been taking liberties, and it's got to stop.
An example?
Well, I'm a freelance time and motion consultant, and on a recent engagement, I tallied up this business was losing over 80 man-hours every week due to tea making.
That's terrible. What business was that?
It was a tea shop, you know, like a cafe. Yeah, I've soon had that place closed down.
I'm sorry, but it was a tea shop, wasn't it? I mean, surely it was their job to make tea.
Yeah, that's what they said, Mark. But it cut no ice with me, though. I tell you, that's nothing more than a technicality. Tea, along with smoking, is going to single-handedly bring this country to its knees.
How's that, then?
Well, Mark, think about it. It's a thin end of the wedge, isn't it? Listen to this. A woman has a cup of tea at 10 o'clock, right? She needs a pee at 10:15, am I right?
Possibly, yeah.
Right, she goes for a leak and thinks, ooh, I'll have a crafty fag while I'm at it, right?
Right.
Now, she has a fag and gets the munchies. So what does she do? She pops next door for a crunchy bar, am I right?
Well...
Right. Now, Mark, what do you like to have with a chocolate bar? Tell me.
A cup of tea.
Exactly, Mark. So, she's had a tea and a Mars bar, and she's on her way back to her workstation when she thinks, oh, blimey, I need another wee.
Oh, blimey.
Oh, blimey. So she goes for another wee, right? But she's also had some chocolate and thinks, I might as well drop a number 2 while I'm here. Well, blimey, Charlie. So she's had a number 2, then she goes back to her bench, but it's now 1 o'clock, Mark. What happens at 1 o'clock?
Lunch?
And what do you have with your lunch, Mark?
Cup of tea?
Exactly! It's a vicious circle that's undermining the whole economic structure of the UK. Do you know, Mark? Do you know that it takes the average woman 1.4 minutes to wash 2 teacups, right?
I didn't know that.
Well, it's true. And in, say, a fish finger packing plant with, say, 60 workers at an average of 4 cups of tea per day, that's 60 times, right? Times 4, times 1.4.
What's that?
A lot. It's a lot, and it simply won't do. Tell you that, mate, no problem. I've been doing my own work, and it absolutely is blooming awful.
Right, yeah.
Oh, hang on, Mark. I think... Hang on. Yeah. Oh, I'm parched. There won't be a tick. Hey, Becky, do you want another one?
Yeah, I'd love one, thanks, love.
Right.
Hi, Bernard. Can you get...
You want one, love?
Can you get...
All right, love. Hang on. I just...
Bernard, get back on this phone, you divot!
Flippin' heck, hey, what's up with you?
Well, you hypocritical get. Here you are preaching to everyone about wasting time. There you are making chuffing tea for everyone during an important phone call.
I am doing no such thing, Mark, and I resent the implication.
Well, what are you doing then if you're not making tea?
I'm making coffee. Would you like one?
Oh, yes, please. Milk, no sugar. Decaf if passed. Thanks
Fine,
very much. That's Dario G and Sun Machine, featuring, of course, David Bowie. And now, look, it's 3:25, and here's an interesting thing concerning David Bowie, right? Our close personal showbiz chum, D, has lost £500,000 on the sale of his Beverly Hills home because his wife has terrible taste. Her idea of interior decorating was so ghastly, nobody wanted to buy the £1 million place, so says one of today's tabloids. Must be right. Goes on, when rapper Heavy D offered half the asking price, Bowie bit his hand off. Supermodel Iman, is that, or Eamon, is it? Right. Spent a fortune having the couple's 3-bedroom apartment in Beverly Hills redesigned to her own wacky tastes. It also says that Bowie was so unimpressed with the decor that when staying in Los Angeles, he chose to stay in a hotel rather than his own luxury pad. Well, this is all a bit odd, innit? I'm not altogether sure I believe it. So, in an effort to put the record straight, I'm delighted to be joined once again by an old friend of this programme, David Bowie. Hello, David!
Hello, Mark!
Now then, Dave, there's not an ounce of truth in this story, I'll wager?
How much?
£5?
You're on.
What, you mean it's true?
Every last chuffing word, Mark. I'm at my wit's end.
Why?
Oh, well, it all started when we bought a luxury end terrace in Herne Hill. You know, we thought we'd err on the side of caution and not overstretch ourselves on the mortgage. A sensible start to married life, right?
Right.
Wrong. Within the first 3 days, Eamon, that's the wife, as you know, she'd only been down the market and filled the front room with a right load of old tats.
Oh, dear, like what?
Like an 8-inch Shire horse pulling a dray, Mark. Oh, bloody awful that was. I remember Brian Ferry had one. And I said to him, Brian, do yourself a favour. You've got Jenny Hall coming down for some slap and tickle. The last thing she wants to see whilst bent over the settee is a bloody Shire horse. It's tacky, get rid. And lo and behold, 20 years later, I've got the same bloody thing on my mantelpiece. Terrible.
Oh, it's not so good, is it?
It got worse, Mark. Then she started collecting horse brasses.
Oh.
Horse brasses! You know them bloody horrible brass things dangling on cracked cheap leather? I said, Eamon, please, no. I've got Noddy Older coming round for a fondue later. I can't let him in with those monstrosities hanging there. She took no notice.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
You're telling me, Mark. And then she started on the walls, all the walls.
How do you mean?
Well, she ended up with the biggest collection of porcelain wall plaques in East London. You know, them spooky plaster faces of Arabs with eye patches and bad teeth. I tell you, I couldn't move for them. I tell you, when Lou Reed popped round to collect the pool's money, I didn't know where to put my face.
That's terrible, D.
I know.
And did this collection affect the sale of your house?
Well, yes, Mark. I know they weren't exactly fixtures and fittings, but when we came to sell it, put people off, but they wouldn't want it. We lost £4,000 on that little house. I had to release the David Live album to cover the loss. She's a blooming liability.
And several years down the line, you've still got the same problem, but with a luxury mansion in Beverly Hills?
Oh, stop it, Mark. We've had the house on the market for ages.
So what did rapper Heavy D like about the place?
Well, it wasn't a collection of brown-coloured glass, was it?
No?
Nor was it the swirly patterned brown and beige carpets.
Really?
Nor was it the Formica cocktail bar.
I'll bet. What was it then?
Well, apparently, it was Eamon's extensive flat-packed shelving fixtures.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, because Heavy D thought his Toby jug collection looked a treat on him.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for joining us
See you
today,
later.
Dave.
Sun Machine is gone.
This is our record of the week here, and this is from Bell and Sebastian.
He had a stroke at the age of 24. It could have been a brilliant career, painting lines in a school that was too well known, painting lines with a friend who had gone.
My favourite mistake, that is Sheryl Crow. It's 3:24, and here's an interesting thing, right? Nurses are being warned that they may face disciplinary action if they write offensive descriptions of patients in their notes. They'll be censured for using joke abbreviations such as FLIC, FLK, which means funny-looking kid, and PIN, which translates, apparently, as pain in the neck. This autumn, regulatory body, the United Kingdom Central Council of Nursing, Midwifery and Health Visiting, will be sending 64,000 letters to warn nurses to avoid the offensive jargon. Well, I should blinking well hope so. I mean, this is hardly the kind of nurse-patient relationship we should encourage, is it? On the line now is a nurse who wishes to remain anonymous due to the fact that he has, for several years now, used this clandestine form of communication. Are you there, Nurse Anthony Art Smart? Opsa Daisy.
Hello, Mark.
Sorry about that, right? I didn't mean to blow your cover.
It's all right, Mark. I mean, you're a bit of a dick, aren't you?
I beg your pardon. I've never been fat all my life.
What are you on about? I said you were a D-I-C-K, a dead intelligent, clever kid, and you are, Mark. But you're only human. We all make mistakes.
Fairly does,
Right.
fairly does. So, what do you reckon to this new ruling, which won't allow the use of these joke abbreviations?
Well, I've met the bloke who instigated it, and he's an anus.
Now, there is absolutely no need for that.
No, Mark, A-N-U-S, an auxiliary nurse under stress. I bear him no malice at all, though his boss is a gent.
Sounds like a nice bloke.
No, a G-E-N-T, a grotesque, evil, nasty tosspot. I blame him for all the upheaval.
Why's that then?
He's got balls.
Well, that's good for leadership, innit?
No, Mark, B-A-L-L-S, a blatantly appalling, lacklustre strategy.
But that only spells bowels.
Yeah. Listen, listen to me. You're pontificating twaddle, Radcliffe, as usual.
Who says?
I says, twaddle, talking with articulate diction, deftly and lyrically executed.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah?
So tell me, are you going to comply with these new regulations then, or what?
Oh, yes, Mark, the crap.
Well, now you're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not, Mark. No, C-R-A-P, completely reasonable and appropriate points.
Ah, yeah, but anyway, that spells crap. Ha
Oh, Radcliffe, you're a right pillock.
All right, let me guess. Does that stand for pedantic, intelligent, likeable lover of clever knowledge?
No, that stands for pillock.
Fair enough. First you heard Apollo 440 and Lost in Space, and then that's Slater Kinney with Little Babies, and the bad news for them is that that would have been our record of the week next week, but we're not here, we're on holiday. The good news for them is none of our records of the week ever get anywhere anyway, so they're probably better off without us. But anyway, it's out on September the 7th. Perhaps we'll have it as record of the week when we get back, even though it'll be out, shall we? Maybe. Slater Kinney, it's on the Matador label anyway. What time is it? It's 24 minutes past 3. Now look, here's an interesting thing. Mike Oldfield. You know Mike Oldfield, red hair, big beard, thick glasses, did the massively successful Tubular Bells LP in the early 70s. You know Tubular Bells, the instrumental classic, Virgin Records, Exorcist, gave Richard Branson his first £1 million to play with. Mike Oldfield. You do? Anyway, in a bid to bring his classic back catalogue bang up to date, he's decided to remix his greatest hits in a rave/Ibiza styling. A move he hopes will bring Tubular Bells, which I must admit I've got a bit of a soft spot for, into the consciousness of the dance-mad teen market. Well, this move could be described by detractors as cynical, but on the other hand, why not? It's his music, he wrote it, he should be able to do what the blinking heck he likes with it. And one man who would agree with the latter point, no doubt, is the man himself, Mike Oldfield. Are you there, Mike?
Hello, Mark.
Now then, Mike, what brought all this on?
Well, Mark, I was on holiday and I kept on hearing this banging dance music.
Oh, in the Balearics?
No, in me head.
Very good. In the Balearic Isles?
No, the Shetland Isles.
Oh, the Shetland Isles.
Yeah.
There's not a big dance scene there, is there?
No, but there's a big divot.
Sorry?
This big lumbering divot in the chalet next to me, bloody ghetto blaster till all hours. You drove me bonkers.
I see, right. But as a result, you were hooked on dance music?
No, as a result, I was hooked on sleeping pills, but they didn't work either. I think sleep deprivation must have had something to do with it, but yeah, I'm into dance music, I run the record company, and bish bosh, I'm a big dance man now.
Yeah, I know, because I've got a copy of your remixes here. It's very interesting.
Are you taking the...
No, I'm going to play the remix of In Dulce Jubilo now, your first big hit, right now.
Thank you. It's good. It's banging.
Yeah.
Hey, I told you it was banging, that. Hey, good, hey, that was inspired by that bloke who does some clobber with Radiohead or something.
Who's that then?
Hank Marvin of the DJ Shadows.
Oh, right, very good. And what about this reworking of that Portsmouth thing you did?
Well, Mark, I did this with the men from Uncle.
Oh, very trendy. DJ Shadow, Mo Wax, James Lavelle, Uncle.
No, Mark, it's Ilya Kuryakin and Napoleon Solo, the men from Uncle. You know them secret agents of the telly?
Right, well, here it is then, Portsmouth remix.
Thank you. It's banging, this. Well, it will be in a minute. Almost perfect. Hey?
Yeah, right. And now, finally, I'm going to play a snatch of your new remix magnum opus, I think, Tubular Bells. Who was this remix by?
Oh, well, this really was an honour. This was one of my heroes, The Judge, respect is due.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Scurru, Judge Jules, he's not a real judge, you know.
No, Judge Pickles, he was a real judge, you know. He's mad for it, and you know what he doesn't know about drum and bass isn't worth knowing.
Right, very good. Should we hear a bit of it? Tubular Bells.
It's banging.
Remixed by Judge Pickles.
Yeah. It's banging.
It soon will be, I guess.
It soon will be, yeah. I want to... Oh, fine.
Yeah, I think we get the general idea. Well, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon and playing some tracks on your remix album, Mike Oldfield.
I'm all sorted.
A peer who wanted to go out with a bang had his last wish granted earlier this week. Lord Newborough's ashes were put into a canister and fired from an old cannon. The cannon was then buried where it landed, half a mile away, on his estate in Derbyshire. His heir, Robert, said his father's wishes had been carried out despite the appalling weather. He said he was up there laughing as we coped with the wind and the rain. Well, good on him, I say. You only live once. Come to think of it, you only die once as well. So why not make the most of it? A man who wholeheartedly agrees with this philosophical outlook on life is the self-declared alternative undertaker and the man who carries out the more, shall we say, outlandish burial requests. It's Jimmy Gookie Spett. Are you there, Jimmy?
Oh, Mark!
What do you make of all this, then?
Well, as you say, Mark, I mean, good on him. He had a history of cannon usage, and that's what fueled his desire. Now, similarly, we devise burials for celebrities and dispose of the bodies in a way that reflects their life and personality.
Like who and like what?
Well, Mark, take Ainsley Harriott, the cook, for instance.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, now, his ashes would be popped into a gold-plated pepper mill and used as a condiment on a suitable TV cookery programme.
Like what?
Oh, Celebrity Ready Deady Cook, eh? Now, that's not bad, is it, eh?
Brilliant, yeah, okay. So, what would you do with, say, Jeremy Clarkson's ashes?
Jeremy Clarkson, let me see now. Yep, got it, yeah. I'd take Jeremy Clarkson's ashes and I'd sprinkle them liberally into a large vat of Vicks nasal spray.
Vicks nasal spray? What for?
So he could continue getting up people's noses even once he's popped his cock.
Oh, yes, very clever, yeah.
Yeah, and if I say, let's see now, Peter Stringfellow, right?
Yeah.
We would take his ashes and we would add them to the liquid stage of the production of Elastic.
Why?
Well, you see, then he could carry on getting in young women's knickers, even from the grave.
Oh, what a horrible thought.
But yeah, you say that, but it's fitting, Mark, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it is, yeah. What about Michael Barrymore, then?
Michael Barrymore, let me see. Blimey. Well, Mark, I tell you what, I'd take his ashes and I'd slip them in your pint.
Now, that's just not funny.
Exactly, Mark, not funny. Michael Barrymore, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, now, I tell you what, I've just finished working on one for Ron Davis, you know that Welsh fella?
Oh, yeah. So what will you do with his ashes?
I'd flush them down the pan.
Yeah, fair enough.
No.
Before you go, what would you do with my ashes?
Your ashes? Oh, now you're saying no. Well, I suppose I'd put them in a rucksack and give them to Lard.
Put them in a rucksack and give them to Lard? What for?
Well, he's been carrying you for years anyway.
All right, you cheeky gad. Yeah, very good. All right, thanks very much for joining us, whatever your name was. Gookie Spat, wasn't it? Mr. Gookie Spat. Right, are we going off the air there? Oh, well, that's extraordinary, isn't it? But anyway, that seems to have happened. Let's try this button now and see. That's doing that itself. I will take responsibility for all my mistakes, but the machine stopped halfway through and started again, you know? Anyway, that was Swirl 360 and Hey Now Now. I love it, hear me. It's 3:25, and here's an interesting thing. In a recent survey of children's names, it became apparent that mantles often associated with the turn of this century, such as Tom, Jack, Bill, George and Charles for the boys, and Alice, Daisy, Emily and Ruby for the girls, are once again amongst the most popular with parents. Gone, it seems, are the modern tags recently favoured, one instigated by a soap opera of all things. I am, of course, referring to the gut of Kylies, who appeared in the early 90s, and similarly Fish and Marillion must take the blame for the batch of Kayleys, who appeared in the mid-80s. Well, joining me on the line now is Chief Registrar at Somerset House, the guardians of the registrations of all births and deaths in the UK, as if you didn't know. Anyway, are you there, Arthur Doffin Codger?
Oh, Mark!
Now then, why do you reckon these old names are coming back?
Well, Mark, I mean, the classics, aren't they? I mean, your Alice's, your Daisies, all that stuff. I mean, you just can't go wrong.
So you think it's a good idea, then?
Well, yes and no, Mark.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, you can take it all too far, can't you? I mean, I myself like all these cutesy Victorian names, like, you know, but to be honest, there's a worrying trend emerging, which I'm not so happy about.
This sounds worrying, then. What's that?
Well, Mark, I've recently detected a series of registrations of names that are, to be quite frank, taking it far too far.
Like what?
Well, Mark, it started a couple of generations ago with one family in Coventry who plundered the Bible for their offspring's names.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
What?
Luke, Peter, Matthew, John, Mark even, all names from the Bible, perfectly good and suitable for common usage.
Oh, no, you say that, but I spoke to the mother, right, Beth, yesterday.
Beth, that's not a mad biblical name.
Yeah, but that's Beth, short for Bathsheba. I said, look, Bathsheba, I need paperwork and definitive spelling for the registration of the triplets.
What triplets?
Well, Lazarus, Melchizedek and Rahab. I mean, I blame the father.
Who is?
Beelzebub Barker. I mean, he's a nutcase, like his dad Methuselah and his dad Barabbas before him. It's just perverse.
I see what you mean.
I mean, to be honest, Mark, I myself have a large extended family, but we've chosen the opposite route.
How do you mean?
Well, modern names with a bit of class. I mean, we've taken a more geographical code to our name choices.
Go on.
Well, there's Little India, of course.
India, yeah, that's
Yep.
getting quite popular, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And a sister, Chelsea.
Nice, yeah.
And in fact, we had the cousins stopping over last night, little Nicaragua and her brother, Kuala Lumpur.
Nicaragua and Kuala Lumpur, you're joking?
No, not mine, no, but they're fresh and inspiring names, which I guarantee will catch on. I mean, it's spread like wildfire through our village. My eldest son, you know, Ken?
Ken?
Yeah, it's short for Kenya. Anyway, he's on the rugby team with his mates Mogadishu, Guatemala and Abu Dhabi. And who's the other? Oh, Sid, yeah, they always were awkward that long.
So it's all going a bit bonkers on the name front then?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's this new name, right? I've never even heard this before. I've had over 3 dozen babies registered with it in the last 10 days, and it's an absolute mystery where it came from, Mark.
Really? What name's that then?
Lard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I've no idea where it came from either, mate.
So.
All right, see ya. Thanks for calling. One of the biggest bands in the world aren't bothered about people messing about with their work. These days, artists are usually so precious and paranoid about their material that you almost daren't play the blooming records on the wireless without permission. But not Radiohead, it would seem, and good on them, I say. Well, at the risk of becoming Radio 1's showbiz correspondent, I'm now joined on the line from LA by the show's producer. It's Cecil B. Day Mill. Are you there, Cecil?
Hello, Mark!
So, is this the first time you've adapted a record into a stage production?
Oh, good Lord, no, Mark. I mean, I've done a few. I mean, the last I did was a Shakespearean adaptation of Aqua's Barbie Girl.
Oh, yeah, I've got a tape of that here.
Oh, yes, Mark. I mean, superficially, it's a good time adolescent party record, but scratch beneath the surface, and you'll find a complex tirade refuting the subservient role of women in the post-nuclear age.
Really?
Well, no offence, Mark, but I can see the subtleties of the piece were lost on you.
Maybe?
Well, no, maybe about it. Now, within 10 seconds, we have all the hallmarks of a Shakespearean tragedy. Misplaced trust, sexual oppression.
Give over.
It's true, Mark. Go on, stick a bit of Aqua on and then play that tape of the stage show. See what you think.
If I must.
Go on. Coming up.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go for a ride?
Sure, Ken.
Jump in.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Right, now the other bit. Here we go. This is it. It's good.
Greetings, fair maiden.
Verily, 'tis a good day, sire.
Wouldst thou take us pleasure in a bumpy ride, young wench?
Why, yes. But pray tell, what be'st that bulging in thine doublet and hose?
I'll show us thou later.
Hey.
Yeah, well, you know, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I feel a bit stupid and shallow now.
No, don't be hard and don't beat yourself up about this, Mark, because you are one of the majority who simply take records at face value, and you should never do that, Mark. It's like when we did the Iron Maiden project.
What was that then?
Well, when you say Iron Maiden, what type of audience do you envisage?
Well, hairy-arsed, leather-clad nutters.
No, wrong, Mark. You see, the Maiden's tunes are actually most suitable for children.
Children?
Yeah.
Oh, you've lost me now.
Why?
What, stuff like 666, the number of the beast? Be quick or be dead? Can I play with madness? I don't think so.
No, just use your imagination, Mark. I mean, they're all perfect Punch and Judy tunes. Bring your daughter to the slaughter. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, well, now you mention it. And how's the Radiohead project going then?
Oh, Mark, I tell you, it's been great. The audience reaction has been perfect. I mean, we really couldn't have wished for more. I think we've really captured Tom York's mood with it.
Great, because I've also got in my possession a sound clip of the opening night.
Oh.
I've not heard it yet. Can I play it in?
Yeah, of course you can. Sure thing, Mark.
OK, for the first time on British radio, Cecil B. Day Mills' interpretation of the work of Tom York and Radiohead. Here we go, take it away.
Yeah, no, call the police, arrest this man, he talks in rhymes. And then I said to him, this is what you get if you mess with me. So I said, I've given all I can. I've given all I can. It's not enough. Where, missus? Strike a light. And I said to him, makes me laugh to think about it, because I said to them, I'm glad there's no alarms and no surprises.
Absolutely. Well, I think you've caught the essence of Radiohead perfectly there. Thanks for joining us, Sass.
It's an absolute pleasure.
These are rare. That is Sheryl Crow, and it's coming up at 22 minutes past 3. And this is Mark and Lard on... Well, I don't know where Lard... He's gone back to... He always says he's going to the car, so he comes back with a dribble on his chin. What's that all about, then? Right, I tell you what, though. Here's an interesting thing. Flirting with colleagues at work not only feels good, but does you good, according to Finnish psychologist Dr. Ayla Karasalo-Kasari. A study reveals that flirters are healthier than non-flirters, according to her anyway. Well, you know, I mean, is this right or is this wrong? Surely it's simply encouraging behaviour which can lead to all manner of problems. Sexual harassment, marriage breakups, all sorts of traumatic problems. On the other hand, you can understand it. Once you clap the eyes on the like of, say, Beryl in our canteen, or Ernie in Parcel Dispatch, perhaps one has no option but to drop in the odd suggestive comment and alluring smile, knowing only too well that nothing will come of it. Well, on the line now, we have a woman who's been campaigning against office flirtation for over 2 decades now. She's head of the group known as the Association Rejecting Sexual Excesses, which is ARSE for short, which is nice. It's Fanny Bokel-like. Are you there, Fanny?
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Fanny.
Don't you hello Fanny me, you sexist pig. I'll report you if you're not careful.
I've not done out.
It's Ms. to you, Ms. Bokel-like.
Sorry, like.
Right. Now, don't you be flashing those big baby blue eyes at me, hoping to twist me round your little finger. Show me some respect.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so over-familiar.
Just get on with it, you lecherous Lothario. I bet you've had more women than hot dinners.
Flippin' heck, I'm sorry I opened my mouth.
Cheeky.
What?
No.
Now then, this new development, how do you take it?
It's none of your business how I take it, I'll have you know.
What?
What, my foot, you little said I know what you're getting at.
I don't know what you're on about. I was simply asking you what you thought of this report that suggests that flirting is good for you.
How do you know what's good for me, big boy?
Flippin' heck, I'm only putting it to you.
Putting it to you? Putting it to me, you animal. You're all the same, you man. Oh,
no, we're not. No. Well, you know, I mean, not really. I suppose there is a bit of the old animal in me. Anyway, look, back to this pressing business.
Oh, yes, please.
Look, is flirting good or bad or what?
You should be on 5 Live with that kind of questioning, Mark.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with my technique.
Oh, we'll have to take your word for that, won't I?
Not necessarily.
Cheeky monkey. Anyway, back to business, right? In hand. Oh, yes, it's a business in hand. Oh, of course flirting is bad. It can leave a nasty taste in the mouth.
Whoa, tell me more.
Oh, well, Mark, this caretaker in our office block, right? He was mentally undressing me the other day. When I confronted him with it, he didn't know where to put his face.
I bet he did, you know.
You devil. I tell you, Mark, you sound like a right honey. What do you look like?
Well, you know, I'm not that tall, you know. I'm all right, you know. I mean, you know. I tell you what.
What?
I'm only next door. I'll come in and you can see if you like the goods.
Oh, blimey, Charlie.
All right,
yes,
you
please.
stay there on the phone.
Yeah, I'm going to get my belt buckle on.
I'm with you.
Oh, blimey, Charlie. Hey, is he coming? Is he coming? Oh, do I look all right? Oh, hey! Oh, he's gorgeous. What do you reckon, eh? Oh, blimey. Oh, Joe. Oh, nice. Is that a gun in your pocket, or have you just got an extremely loud...
California.
Well, no, here's an interesting thing, right? We were talking about this earlier on, weren't we? A grandma who designed a talking potty was yesterday named as Britain's first woman inventor of the year. 62-year-old granny in question came up with the idea whilst trying to potty train her grandson. She's got a tape recorded under the potty which praises the child when a successful visit to the porcelain portable loo has been completed. Well, what a great idea. And what's more, it would appear that the lady in question has been a keen inventor for years and has an impressive catalogue of new ideas under her belt. How do I know this? Because I've only gone and got the biddy in question on the other end of the phone, haven't I? So, are you there? Fora Killisow.
Hello, Mark.
So, tell me, how long have you been a nutty inventor then?
Well, Mark, it started with a prototype of this potty idea.
Right, and what was different about the first version?
Well, it wasn't a talking po, it was for an outside bog, and it wasn't aimed at children, it was aimed at my husband, Charlie.
And what did it say?
Well, I'm sat on it at the moment. Would you like to hear it?
Well, naturally, of course I would, yeah.
Okay, right, here goes, 72, just press the button, and here we go.
Blimey, Charlie, I think you need to see a doctor. Flippin' heck, I'd leave it a minute if I were you, our kid. Have you been eating
Yeah. All right, yeah, but I think we get the picture. Yeah, but ultimately, Thora, what did he achieve?
Well, to be honest, Mark, it backfired on me.
In what way?
Well, Mark, I found out that because he was so embarrassed, he used to do his business in the garden and bury it. Oh,
dear, really? And how did you find him out?
Well, all I will say is that we had a phenomenal allotment crop that year, but the rhubarb crumble, rotten.
Right. So, what did you do about it?
Well, Mark, I invented the world's first talking shovel, and I've still got that age. You want to hear that as well?
Right, go on then.
Well, you are.
Oi, Thora, quick, come here! Charlie's off for a snide dump in the garden again! Oi, pack it in, you dirty gad! Oi, watch the cross patch, clumsy!
What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's brilliant, that. And have you invented anything else recently?
Oh, yeah, well, I just last night I invented a pair of talking underpants.
Well, that sounds interesting. Can I have a listen?
Sure, yeah, hang on. Charlie, get your ass over here and put these underpants on. Here we go.
Oh, dear, I think you've done a flatly there, Charlie.
Oh, blimey.
That's the stain devil, Mother.
Oh.
Let me out! Whoa, look at them space hoppers. Klingons on the starboard bow. Klingons on the starboard bow. Hey, it's rude to point. Ooh, that's a nasty
Yes,
one.
okay, very good, all right. Well, thanks very much for joining us for that. It's most illuminating. Thora Killisow. Mark and Lard and Radio... Well, he's gone to the cars here, I think, but doesn't matter, because here's an interesting thing. Well, actually, it's more of a preposterous type thing. Top TV gardening celebrity type fella, Alan Titchmarsh, is the unlikely author of a steamy sex novel called Mr. McGregor, which has been praised by one of the greatest literary figures of the last 60 years. Jilly Cooper. This, and I quote, sizzling and racy tome tells the tale, get this, of the romantic tribulations of Rob McGregor, a heartthrob man-of-the-people gardening television presenter. The book's cover features a picture of Michelangelo's David with his genitals covered by a bright blue embossed rose. Well, all in the best possible taste, of course, but who on earth thought that Alan Pitchfork Titchmarsh would make a top-flight contemporary author? I'll tell you who, it's only top literary agent Tarquin Hitchhouse. Are you there, Tarquin?
Hello, Mark.
Now then, why Alan Titchmarsh?
Well, why not, Mark? Think about it.
I'm thinking.
Right.
I'm still thinking. I've thunk, I still haven't got a clue.
Right, well, you know, I mean, he's quite well known.
Yeah.
And he's very... No, it's gone, I'm sorry.
It's not a good start, is it, Tarquin?
No, sorry.
Okay, let's put it another way.
Right.
Isn't this a really, really bad idea?
Not at all, Mark. No, the plot is fantastic.
Is it? Go on, tell me.
Well, there's this gardener, right, with nice thick hair and cord pants and a wax jacket, right?
Yeah.
And he's on the telly doing gardening and stuff, right? And he's a right randy old coot.
Oh, very fruity.
Yeah.
A bit like Alan Titchmarsh, then.
Well, similar.
How similar?
Identical. Well, with the one obvious exception, of course.
Of course.
At least, I don't think Alan's got a wax jacket.
Yeah. Look, are you any good at this literary agent malarkey?
Hey, I am the best, Mark. My portfolio is bulging with first drafts.
Like what?
Well, I've been talking to Robin Cook, you know, Robin Father Cook,
yeah.
And he's working on a novel at the moment.
Right, what's that about, then?
Well, it's about this little politician who looks like a wizened gnome who, for some reason, right, get this, right, gets more skirt than he can wave a pooey stick up.
That sounds great. Where did he get such an idea from?
Well, you see, Mark, he's got a fertile imagination, and that's the skill in talent spotting. Seeing someone with that glint in their eye, that special something that contributes to a great literary mind.
That sounds easy.
Well, you might say that, but it's not all plain sailing, Mark.
Oh, why?
Well, recently I approached Monica Lewinsky, and all I had was a title, right? And she blew me out.
Really? What was the title?
A Sucker for Punishment.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
What are you working on at the moment?
Well, no, you mentioned it, Mark. I'm writing a novel as well.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, it's about this very good-looking, well-endowed bloke.
Yeah, what's the plot?
Well, it's a tragi-comedy, Mark.
Tell me more.
Well, he's facing bankruptcy, and out of desperation, he hoodwinks various celebrities into prostituting themselves on his behalf in order to save his bacon.
Right. This lead character...
Yeah?
Wouldn't be a literary agent by any chance, would he?
How did you guess, Blooming? You're brilliant, you are. Would you like to write a book for me, Mark? I'll tell you what, you'd be really good at it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us again. What was your name again?
I can't remember.
Was it Tarquin Hitch? Oh, he's gone. Never mind. Great new single from Arnold.
Love me.
Those are the cause, and what can I do? It is, 24 minutes past 3, and I've got a great record here from 22 Pista Perco, new single, which is a wonderful tune, and we'll try and play that, but not before this, because here's an interesting thing. Listen to this. DJ Wally Tillyswat plays records and tells jokes at the local Age Concern Day Centre at Hornchurch, Essex. Nothing extraordinary about that, you might say, but this old-timer is almost expecting a telegram from the Queen as he's a grand age of 97. Hell's up for all of us then. But, I mean, on a serious note, how can someone of such a ripe old age even remember his own name, let alone jokes, record titles, and all the other complicated shenanigans that go with being a top-flight jock, obviously? Well, there's only one way to find out. Are you there? Coffin-dodging spinmeister, Wally Tillyswat.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, now then, Wally, aren't you a bit old for all this, then?
Give over, Mark. Listen here, you whippersnapper. I was on Radio 1 when that Lard character was still wetting his pants.
What? Last week?
Yeah, very funny. No, not last week. Not even last decade. 1968 I started on 1FM, and I tell you, having heard it again over the last few hours, I tell you something, nothing's changed. And more to the point, nothing's original anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's a typically rose-tinted comment from a man whose time is obviously well gone.
Listen up, Milano. I was on the breakfast show with Tony Blackburn. I was his hapless sidekick. Does that ring any bells?
Not really.
Well, what do you say about the fact that me and him had a hugely successful rock combo called the Pit Ponies? Hey?
Now, hold on a minute, Wally.
What?
Are you saying the Shire Horses, who had a reasonably priced LP in the top 25 album chart, are you saying that we ripped you off?
Not at all. Actually, yes, I am. I mean, nothing is new, right? As time drags on, the same old ideas crop up again and again, and most of them are mine.
That's ridiculous. What are you on about?
Well, you know that so-called dangerous Dave Pearce?
Yeah.
Remember Simon Bates?
Just about.
Well, I invented his nickname, right? Insipid Simon Bates. And you know that Judge Jules character you've got at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a bit too close to Justice Jimmy Savile for my liking.
Give over, you're making this up.
As God is my witness, Mark, even the older stuff like that Big Hairy Divot, DDT, was it?
You mean Big Hairy Cornflake, DLT?
That's the bunny, right? Well, he had snooker on the radio quiz, didn't he?
That was good, that.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite as good as my pocket billiards on the radio. I tell you, Mark, you all owe me a drink or two.
I suppose you invented the golden hour as well.
You mean Wally's golden shower, I presume?
Look, I've had enough of this. If you're so good, what are you doing spinning the platters that matter at an Age Concern Day Centre in Hornchurch?
Well, it's like home from home for me, Mark.
Why's that, then?
Well, a lot of the old Radio 1 crew are here now.
Like who?
You remember Dave Kid Jensen?
I do.
Well, he's Dave Grandpa Jensen now, and that Gary Young, Free and Single Davis.
Oh, Gary, I knew him. He was a nice bloke.
Well, he's Gary cracking on Incontinent and Desperate Davis now.
It's a shame.
But time marches on for us all, Mark. I mean, these are the lucky ones. Think of all the other nearly men who are at Radio 1 over the years.
Like who?
Well, there's that one who brings Jimmy Savile's Sterident supply in. 5-minute wonder he was. John Peel was his name, I think.
And what about this show, me and him? This hasn't been done before, have it?
No, and having heard it, I'm not bleeding surprised.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Not off.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, thanks for joining us. It's a nice tune out from Sheryl Crow, My Favourite Mistake. It's coming up for 24 minutes past 3. And here's an interesting thing. 4 golfers hit a hole in one... Oh, actually, before we do this, can I just say hello to Emma, right? Because, I don't know if you remember, Emma's mummy, Michelle, said that last year, right, you know, she used to go and pick her up from school because Emma insisted on hearing in-depth reportage. And this year has started just the same. You know, and what year is it now? You know, she's in it, well, year 5, you know, and she's still coming out of school just in time for... anyway, hello to you, right. Now, here's an interesting thing. 4 golfers hit a hole-in-one on 4 consecutive days at Cheddington Court Golf Club in Dorset. The captain of the club, Bernard Bull Dastard, said there must be more chance of winning the lottery than this happening. It's a basic. Well, one would have to agree, so joining us on the line to discuss this amazing event is said golfer Bernard Bull Dastard. Are you there, Bernie?
Hello, Mark!
So, tell me, Bernard, what exactly happened?
Well, Mark, the first putt went out right, and he got a 5-iron, an unusual choice for such a shot, right? And then he actually went down...
Hang on, Bernard.
What?
I can't be arsed with this. I hate golf. Ta-ra.
Cheeky cat.
Right, let's try again, right? Manchester United fans feeling sorry for themselves at B-Sky B's £625 million buyout are being urged to learn how to really get the blues. For a training company is staging a day course on switching support to Manchester City. Well, this sounds like a great idea, and joining us on the line now is the man whose job it is to make the United fans change allegiance. It's psychologist Henry Shullerfit. Are you there, Henry?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, you've got a job on your hands, haven't you?
No, not at all, Mark. I think about the benefits of swapping from Man United to Man City.
I'm thinking.
Well, hang on, all right, now don't do any more thinking, right? Now think about this, right? When you watch City, you at least know that you'll probably be sitting next to a fellow Mancunian and not some fair-weather supporter from blinking Bournemouth, which is more than can be said of Old Trafford.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to be fair, that's because, you know, United are a hugely successful, glamorous, world-famous club filled with top-flight international players who bang goals away like nobody's business. They're massively popular.
Well, there is that, but what about the strips?
What about them?
Well, United supporters, as we all know, are faced with a new strip on the market every other blooming week. It costs a fortune as the fans feel obliged to keep up with the ever-changing merchandise due to peer group pressure. But statistics, now you can't argue with statistics, Mark, they show that Man City sell a lot less of their strips, particularly the new away strip.
But I mean, that's because the new City away strip is horrible.
I beg your pardon, Judas!
Hey, it is, isn't it? It's a horrible, luminous thing. You know, supporters would be mistaken for match stewards when they wear them. It's vile.
No, they're not.
Have you bought one?
No.
Well, rest me case. I mean, are these the best reasons you can come up with for supporting City?
No, right, you talk about glamour, right, with that United, but what about the Oasis lads, the Gallaghers? They bring untold glamour to the club.
Well, yeah, perhaps once or twice a season. I mean, you've got more chance of seeing Lord Lucan at Main Road than you have Liam Gallagher these days.
Got a point. Well, what about the most important fact, right? The fact that you can at least get a ticket to see City, but you can't for United, can you? Go on, answer that.
No. That is true. That is true. Now, tell me, Bernard, who are United playing this weekend?
I don't know.
Coventry. Right, Dion Dublin, Darren Huckabee, great players, right? And who is City playing?
Tell me.
Macclesfield.
Oh, dear.
Capacity 6,000, that's Sue. So what have you got to say for yourself now, then?
One Man United, there's only one Man United. You are my soldier, my only soldier. You make me Manchester United.
All right.
Bouncing Bundy Mains.
All right, shut up now. I'd just like to point out that we do remain Blues, don't we?
Oh, aye.
Yeah, and, you know, no offence to Macclesfield whatsoever.
No.
Who have made a fine achievement in getting that club to where it is.
I think that'll probably do.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
What was your name again?
I can't remember.
I'm the water, I'm the dishes, I'm the sun.
That's Jennifer Page and Crush. It's coming up for 23 minutes past 3. And here's an interesting thing. Household appliances are damaging people's short-term memories by interfering with the brain's electrical activity, scientists have discovered. Magnetic fields from goods such as televisions, videos and hairdryers, previously believed to be too weak to affect the mind, were found to cause brief bouts of forgetfulness. Well, the research by a team from the University of Bristol follows evidence that regular use of mobile phones may affect the memory, particularly remembering numbers and words. Many top scientists have suggested that electrical currents can affect the metabolism, but this new information is quite frightening. Or is it? It might just be, to use the technical term, a load of old cobblers. Well, one person who takes the latter stance is joining me now on the line. It's Professor Henry Willie Sanker, head of research at Preston University, where I seem to remember the Mighty Horse are playing on Friday. Anyway, I digress. Are you there, Prof. Hen?
Hello, Mark.
So what do you reckon to this report, then?
Absolute baloney, Mark. Plain and simple.
In what way?
Well, I've carried out extensive research into this field, and I've come up with a completely different conclusion. In fact, to prove them wrong, I am now going to utilise several household electrical appliances at once. Here goes with the hairdryer. Right, that's on its way. Now, the 3-bar electric fire. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's give it a second, yeah.
Right. Okay.
What's 8 times 8?
64. Right, now, Mark, the electric sander.
Oh, right.
There you see, Mark? No problemo. So, carry on, do your worst.
Okay, what's 740 times 75.3?
55,722. Now, hang on. I am now plugging in an electric deep fat fryer.
Right, yeah.
Right, there we go. Now, they're going to the Hoover as well.
Oh, blimey.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, now, maybe we haven't left it long enough. Let's have a chat and see how you get on with it in a minute, all right?
Okay.
So tell me, Henry, what other research have you been carrying out recently?
Well, Mark, very worrying this. I recently discovered that some noises rot the brain.
Really?
Oh, aye. No offence, like, but I think you're showing some of the telltale signs.
Right, what noises in particular?
Well, the Lighthouse Family and Cabbage Garden up long.
That is worrying. And is there a known antidote?
Yes, the Shire Horses album.
Oh, fair enough, yes. Anyway, back to business.
Right.
What's 846 times 123.7?
104,650.2. Oh, flipping heck, what's that? Oh, blimey, Joe. Oh, blimey, Joe, it's a deep fat fire. I forgot to turn it off. Oh, fire! Fire!
You're right, Henry.
Blimey, Joe, whoever put me jumping keys, where are they? What on the light? Hang on, I'll be with you in a minute, man. Who is it again? It's the fire brigade! Well, how do I know that? Show me your ID through the window.
It's the fire brigade! Here you
Whoa, where's my reading glasses?
They're coming to rescue!
Oh, what am I like?
Is your wife in the house, sir?
Me what? Me wife? I'm not married.
Yeah, all right, yeah, Professor Henry.
Professor Henry. Right, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
What's your name, mate?
Yeah, all right, what's your name? Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Professor Henry Willie Sanker. And this is the new single from R.E.M. Recorded on Sunday last in Cardiff at Radio 1 Live. Those are the Manic Street Preachers and A Design for Life. Right, it's coming up to 24 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing. Eco-warriors from across Europe are gathering in England to learn tactics and skills from English campaigners. The would-be swampies have come from France, Sweden, Germany and Poland to study at the feet of their English counterparts who lead the world in direct action tactics. Lessons include instruction on how to build tunnels, bunkers, tree houses and aerial walkways, and how to resist eviction. Well, good on them. Sometimes this course of action is the only option, let's face it. If you're going to be undertaking a series of dangerous tasks for a good cause, then you're better off being well trained. So, joining me on the line now, I'm delighted to say, is Dockleaf Gumbravy. Are you there, Dockleaf?
Hello, Mark.
So, how's it going then, this course?
Hey, it's going splendidly, Mark, and we have at this point over 600 scabby Europeans digging holes and crapping in bushes all over England's green and pleasant land. It's great. Power to the people, I say.
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
Now then, what gave the idea to start this camp in the first place?
Well, Mark, I went on a bonding weekend with the county bailiffs to Devon, and we spent all weekend learning how to manhandle rancid upstarts out of tunnels and trees. I learned a lot, Mark, I can tell you.
I'm sorry, Dockleaf. Did I hear you right? Did you say you work for the county bailiffs?
Oh, hi, Mark. But it was all part of the master plan. I was a proverbial enemy within.
Tell me more.
Well, I got the job in the first place so I could learn about eco-eviction from the experts themselves.
Yeah.
Then, after serious training, who better to foil a bailiff's dastardly plans but one of their own kind, eh? Brilliant, eh, Mark?
Yeah, now that is clever. How long were you a bailiff then?
25 years.
25 years?
25 years, Mark, man and boy. It's not as easy as it looks, dragging scumbags off treetops.
I see.
To be honest, I'd already had some first-hand knowledge of the more traditional house eviction some years before. It's a very upsetting experience.
Really? So you were evicted from a house at some point?
No, Mark, no, I was a landlord. I had a right load of troublemakers in one of my Victorian slums, and it got a bit nasty, but I got them out in the end. Benefits scum.
If you don't mind me saying, Dockleaf, you sound like a bit of a fascist.
Oh, contraire, Mark. I mean, I wouldn't be passing on my considerable knowledge and experience to this human sewage if I didn't have the best interests at heart, now would I?
I suppose so, yeah. But what do you get out of it? A sense of spiritual fulfillment? The comforting thought that in some small way you're preserving our natural land rights for our future generations, perhaps?
Oh, correct, Mark. And then there's the 200 quid surcharge.
200 quid surcharge? What for?
Well, hang on a minute. Just think about it, Mark. They're making a right mess of 4 acres of prime English countryside at Cheveley. Now that don't come cheap.
Well, who owns the land?
I do.
Oh, I see. And are you going to keep the camp going for a while?
Well, till March 99, Mark.
Why, what happens then?
I'm building a 48 cinema multiplex and England's largest branch of Pet You Like. It'll be a right earner, I promise you.
This is terrible.
Whoa.
You should be ashamed of yourself, exploiting these well-intentioned young
I'm sorry, Mark. I'd love to stop and talk to your day, but if I don't get off home now, I'll get snarled up in the rush hour on the Newbury bypass. I tell you, it's a good road, but chuffing out it gets busy. We could do with a Snellsmore Common bypass as well. Actually, I must write that down. I'll see you, Mark. Gotta go.
Divot. That is Billy Myers and Kiss the Rain, and before that it was Placebo and You Don't Care About Us. This is Mark and Lard on Radio... Well, Lard's gone, actually, mystifyingly, but it is coming up for 24 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing. They were the envy of the world and the pride of the country, tackling enemies and hazardous seas for the last 400 years. But now the Royal Navy has sent an SOS to the government to help it overcome a problem a bit closer to home. Sailors who cannot swim. Naval officials have complained after figures show 20% of recruits are failing its swimming test. In some cases, say the Navy, recruits are petrified of water. They can't even find the courage to jump into a swimming pool. Well, joining me on the line now is Admiral Chauncey Wuckfit. Are you there, Admiral?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, this simply isn't good enough, is it, Admiral? Come on, pull your socks up.
How dare you! We have the finest team of boys and girls in the Western Hemisphere, I'll have you know!
Not in the swimming stakes, you haven't?
But that's completely fatuous, Radcliffe, and you know it. Does a window cleaner have to be able to levitate to clean your bedroom window?
No, he uses a ladder.
Exactly, and does the same window cleaner have to be able to fly like a bird in case he falls off said ladder?
No, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, your aspersions are both ill-conceived and ignorant. I was an admiral on the Ark Royal for 20 years, and I can't swim.
Really? And how did you get on?
No problemo. I simply made sure I didn't need to swim.
I see. You kept a tight and safe ship, unsinkable kind of thing.
No, I wore water wings.
What, all the time?
All the time. I mean, made bath time a bit tricky, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
I see. So you're a great example of a successful seafaring man.
Well, terrible seasickness to now.
What, you get seasick?
Oh, I get some rotten, Mark. But again, one makes provisions.
What provisions?
Well, I never went up on the bridge for a start.
You never went up on the bridge?
Oh, no.
That's the vantage point of the whole ship. How can an admiral not go on the bridge?
Well, it's my ship. I do what I like.
Yeah, well, no offence, lad, it's a bit of a puzzle how you ever made admirable. What, with not being able to swim and seasickness?
Well, I did my time, Mark. I was a fighter pilot on the Ark before that. How do you jump jet, you know?
All right, you must have been great at that, then.
Well, I never crashed a plane, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and how many air miles did you amass?
4.
4?
Well, I don't like heights, you see, so I passed my test, I did a bit of ducking and a diving, and Bob's your uncle. Never had to bother. I mean, I don't even like being flown to the Isle of Man, let alone steering one of the buggers. It's called steering, isn't it? I can't remember.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
What?
You're a sailor who can't swim, an admiral who gets seasick, a fighter pilot who's scared of flying.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever have to go to war?
Oh, blimey, Charlie, no thanks.
What do you mean, no thanks?
Well, I'm a pacifist, Mark. I'm fighting no one, no siree.
I think I've had enough of this. I'll see you, Admiral.
So right,
all right then, thanks very much. Now, this is an album track by an American singer-songwriter you might have been reading about called Elliott Smith, and this is a gorgeous track. It's from the album XO, and this is Waltz number 2. That's Divine Comedy. You're doing Generation Sex at the big one last Sunday in Cardiff, and very fine it sounded too. 23 minutes past. I'll tell you what I've got hold of here. You know, I was talking about a band the other week called Gay Dad. Weren't we? Thought it was a great name for a band, and we got a record of theirs in, and it's Blinder actually, so we'll play that. But not before we've discussed this interesting thing, right, which is here now. What an interesting thing. An animal's name may be its best weapon against extinction, scientists have shown. In the battle for survival, the dullest species will score a public relations boost if they have the right name. On the other hand, the cutest species can plunge in the public's estimation if their names are regarded as ugly or boring, this research discovered. Researchers asked 114 visitors to London Zoo over this summer to look at pictures of a variety of species ranging from elephants to beetles and rate how prepared they would be to help conserve them. The results show that names such as the black widow spider made people look upon the species in a bad light. Unsurprisingly, perhaps. Perhaps people look upon the black widow spider in a bad light because it eats the male after breeding and has been known to bump the odd human off. But what do I know? I'm a blinking disc jockey, not a naturalist. So, in an effort to consider both sides of the argument, I am now joined by the world's most respected zoologist, David Barry Hum. Are you there, Dave?
Oh, Mark!
Now then, David, is it right? Do animals with horrible-sounding names have more of a chance of extinction, or what?
Unfortunately, yes, Mark, it's true.
And can anything be done about it?
Well, we're trying, bless our cotton socks. We are at the moment in the process of renaming the worst-hit animals.
Right, fine. Can you give us some examples?
Well, you mentioned before the black widow spider.
Oh, yes.
Well, Mark, she gets a terrible press. But as you said, the name strikes fear into your heart. Now, what we really need to do is get a bit of sympathy sympathy for the poor little creature.
Well, how?
Well, clever. By renaming it the Black Recently Lost Her Husband and is Quite Inconsolable Spider. What do you think?
Yes, good. That should do it, yeah.
But the list goes on, Mark. I mean, there's so much work to be done. I mean, consider the plight of one poor old primate whose name gives off the completely misleading vibes, right? The red-faced black spider monkey.
Right, and what's it called now?
Well, we've just thought about this, and it's now called the very shy, highly embarrassed about something, but I'm not quite sure what, black spider monkey.
That's brilliant.
I thought so. Was that, you know, we had a bit of a struggle with the Rodriguez fruit bat. It was just a bit too ambiguous.
So what is it now, then?
Well, now, Mark, it's the Rodriguez slightly effeminate bat. Now, you see, now you know where you stand.
Absolutely, I can see. Well, it's sterling work you're doing. But what about that bird, the great tit? That's been ridiculed by all and sundry over the years. Have you sorted that one out?
Let me have a look in my book. Here we go, yep.
Yep, and what is it now?
It's the fantastic Nork bird.
Fantastic, right, yeah. And to finish?
Well, to be honest, the biggest problem that we had was with the beleaguered dung beetle.
I bet that took some fixing.
Yep, but we had like a 2-week brainstorming session and got it right in the end, you know.
That's good, and what is it now?
It's called the Boy's Own Beetle.
Fantastic, that'll be right then.
See ya.
See ya. That's special by Garbage. Right, it's just left 24 minutes past 3. Late today. Here's an interesting thing, right? Pregnant posh spice Victoria Adams can't wait to be chained to the kitchen sink after spending £17,000 on gadgets for her new pad. She went shopping with soccer ace David Beckham and snapped up all the mod cons needed to make slaving over a hot stove bearable. Nothing wrong with that, you might say. They're both independently wealthy, they both earn the cash, they should be able to spend it how they blooming well like. On the other hand, what they're chuffing out is an electric egg boiler. I mean, excuse my ignorance, but isn't an egg boiler a pan with water in it? No offence, like, if you need a newfangled gadget to negotiate such a simple act as boiling an egg, then you're in deep trouble, aren't you? Well, here to tell me otherwise, and Lardy, he pulled out his tripe and he's got her, is the lady in the eye of the storm. Chris Moyles had Scary Spice on. We can match that as we welcome now to the show Victoria Posh Spice Adams.
Hello, Mark!
Now, before we start, I've never heard you speak before.
Hello!
It's just like your singing voice.
Yeah.
Before we start, Vicky, can I ask you how your fiancé, David Posh Beckham, gets on with the rest of the Adams family?
Yeah. Put another record on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, no, I didn't mean that last little there. I didn't mean it.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
Stop.
Then. All right,
Didn't mean it.
Right, all right. Okay, on with the business now then. Posh, what's all this then? A flipping electric egg boiler? I mean, that is a bit decadent, isn't it?
Not really. I mean, there are so many different types of boiled egg.
Is it?
Well, there's really, really runny. There's quite runny, a bit harder than runny, quite hard, really, really hard.
Yeah. All right, I get the picture, Posh. So, what does this electric egg boiler look like, then?
Oh, well, Mark, you know, it's metal, and it's round, and it's got a nice black plastic handle on it.
That's a pan?
Yeah, some people call it a pan, but I call it an electric egg boiler, because I only boil eggs in it, nothing else.
Well, where does the electric bit come into it?
Well, I put it on the electric stove.
Okay, so what other gadgets have you bought then?
Well, being a top-flight athlete, David's on a permanent health kick, and he simply refuses to eat white bread. Now, I only ever buy white bread, so we had a bit of a problem for a while, until David found this great invention that turns white bread into brown bread.
That sounds interesting. Describe it to me.
Well, it's metal, with a plug on it. It's got 2 slots that you stick the white bread in, you push your lever down, and in about 2 minutes, bish bosh, the once white bread pops up brown. Did it?
Yeah, I did. That's a toaster, is it?
That's it, you're right. A fantastic invention. It's not as good as a musical kettle, though.
What's that, then?
Well, it's a kettle that's musical.
Yeah, I think I got that bit. But describe it to me.
Well, making a brew can be a bit boring, can't it, Mark? So this kettle entertains you while you wait for the water to boil.
Now, that does sound good.
Yeah.
I want one. Can I hear it?
Yeah, of course you can. I'm not, hang on a minute. I'm not saying it's Beethoven's third line, but it's better than now, right? There we go.
Right.
Lovely.
Yeah, is the tune gonna...
Oh, listen to that.
Is that it?
A while away I was listening to that.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake, give me straight. That's now new. It's a bog standard kettle with a whistle on it, that.
Oh, everybody's a bloody critic nowadays.
Look, one last chance.
What?
Anything else you bought worth talking about?
Well, I mean, Dave bought me this telly. I mean, it looks like a lovely thing, but the programmes that come out, they're absolutely rubbish.
How do you mean the programmes that come out of here? All telly get the same programmes, don't they?
Not this one. I turn it on, and do you know, Mark, whatever channel I choose, all I get is this rubbish programme which shows a plate spinning round with a light above it. It's like a rubbing old interlude. It's terrible. It's rubbish.
It's a microwave, that.
What is it?
Yeah.
I wondered why Dave stuck a passage in it the other day. I'd best be off anyway.
Right, okay, well, it's been a pleasure talking. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You are.
Yeah, all right, see you then. Thanks very much for joining us. This is our record of the week now. Oh, excuse me, it's Getaway People. That's Alicia's Attic and the Incidentals. Right, it's coming round for 24 minutes past 3. And here's an interesting thing. A can of exhaust fumes from Michael Schumacher's Formula 1 Ferrari fetched £10,600 at a charity auction. Eh? It was bought by a 49-year-old German fan who wished to remain anonymous. I'm not surprised he wanted to remain anonymous. I mean, but before we universally ridicule this mystery man, I should point out that the proceeds do go to charity. So what's it all about then? I mean, is the buyer simply a very generous man who was basically donating a sizable wedge to a worthwhile cause? Or is he a barn pot who actually wanted this can of toxic fumes? Well, once again, wishing to remain anonymous, I am now delighted to be joined on the phone by... Well, I don't know who he is, do I? Because he's anonymous. Are you there, Mr. X?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, what's this all about then?
Look, mate, we all have our hobbies. It just happens that mine involves collecting unusual sporting memorabilia.
So, what have you done with this tin of smoke then?
I'll put it with all the other clubber. My collection is second to none, I'll have you know.
Really?
Oh.
Oh, aye. So, what other collectibles have you amassed over the years?
Well, I've recently acquired a highly desirable piece of Formula 1 history that makes me the envy of Nigel Mansell fans the world over.
Really? What have you got?
Guess.
Ooh. Is it one of his trophies?
No, better than that.
Better than that?
Yeah.
Wow. One of his cars? That's got to be the best you can hope for.
No, Mark, I'll put you out of your misery now. I have only gone and got me mitts on some of his hair.
Beg your pardon?
I know, Mark. Fantastic, isn't it?
But that's horrible.
Oh.
And anyway, what kind of divot would auction their whiskers off anyway?
No, hang on, Mark. No, he didn't auction it.
But how'd you get it then?
Well, Mark, being a big Nigel fan, as you understand, you know, I follow him around, you know, and one night he forgot to lock his bedroom door at a hotel, right? So listen to this. I gently sneaked in, and I only shaved his pride and joy.
What? You shaved his cobblers?
No, Mark, no, that'd be a wrong thing to do. No, I whipped his tash off while he was dozing.
Well, that's twisted.
Yes,
you can't do that.
I did.
So, what other items have you got in your black museum?
Oh, it's a long list, Mark. I mean, one of my most treasured possessions is a pair of Mike Atherton soiled trousers.
What? Now, hold on there, mate.
What?
You know, no wonder you want to remain anonymous. You're sick, you are.
What?
Mike Atherton's soiled trousers. You should be locked up.
No, man, no, not soiled trousers like, ooh, I'd best check that, soiled trousers. No, I've got a pair of his white cricket pants. I infamously kept a bit of soil in the pocket, you remember?
Oh, right, see, yeah, well, that's not so bad then.
No, and I suppose my favourite piece, my piece de la resistance, the creme de la creme.
Yeah, all right, stop milking it. Yeah, go on.
Well, it's the best one, this. It's my bottled Gascoigne Belch.
I beg your pardon?
You heard? I've got one of Gather's gaseous gurgles. It's in a sealed bottle. It'll be worth a fortune in years to come, tell you.
Give over. You've not got a gas a burp in a bottle.
I have, you know.
You're so gullible. He must have seen you coming.
What do you mean?
How much do you pay for that?
15k.
£15,000?
Yeah.
For an empty bottle? You need your head testing.
Oh, hang on a minute. How do you know there isn't a belch in this bottle, then?
See, I know, because I'm not a stupid, gullible, feckless get.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
I'm so confident that there's no belch in that bottle. I'll bet you 5 that I'm right.
You're on, mate, right? I'll make a mug of you right on the wireless. No, Mason, right now, hang on. Here goes.
Blimey, Charlie.
Hey, I told you so. You owe me a fiver. You owe me. I've won a fiver, everybody. I better write mug out of Ransom. I've won a fiver. I have won a fiver.
I think I'd best be off before the penny drops. Very good. Thanks for joining us very much, Mr. X. That's Smoke by Natalie Imbruglia. It's coming up for 23 minutes past 3. And here's an interesting thing. Move over, Joe Guest. A ferret is taking over page 3. Topless Totty have been ousted by the Slinky Pets as the glamour interest in the magazine Go Ferret. Get it? Go for it. Go. Yeah. It's the brainchild of Miriam Gadsett, who has a house full of the animals and reckons they aren't taken seriously enough. Well, excuse me, but aren't ferrets oversized rats that simpletons stick down the trousers for want of a better day out? Give me strength, not taken seriously enough, whatever next. I mean, I like pets as much as the next man, but surely this has gone much too far. Has the world gone mad? Or, on the other hand, is this magazine merely a healthy addition to the list of hobby publications which quench the collective thirst of special interest enthusiasts throughout the UK? Well, joining me on the line now is the man who publishes many of these mags. It's Peter Hobnett. Are you there, Peter?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, Peter, it's all a bit sad, this, isn't it?
You cheeky cat!
But to publish a magazine with a ferret as the prurient sex interest, that's a bit off, isn't it?
Well, you say that, Mark, but have you seen this ferret? Oh, a lovely silky fur, big brown eyes, and a pert little tail. Oh, it's...
Yeah, all right, each to their own, I suppose.
Yeah,
but I mean, how did you get into this business in the first place, then?
Well, my first big break came with the Blue Bottle Companion, one of my ideas, that.
You can't be serious. A magazine about Blue Bottle? It's daft.
No, Mark, no, it wasn't about blue bottles. It was a paper specially designed to roll up easily to use to flatten the dirty little gets. It's brilliant, eh?
Did it sell?
Well, it's big in Dubai.
Yeah, I bet. And what came next, then?
Well, then I worked on the marketing of a great magazine called Pussy Weekly.
No, I don't want to know.
Why, don't you like cats?
Not really.
Well, I do, and I threw myself into this one, lock, stock and barrel, I tell you, but, you know, in the end, it all went horribly peak-tongue.
Why?
Well, we had some problems with the free gift. You see, we sellotaped it to the front cover.
Well, that's common practice, isn't it?
Not with a kid in it's not. No, it seemed like a great idea at the time, but they kept falling off and dying and stuff. It's an absolute nightmare, it was.
I'm not being funny, mate, but is there any kind of publication you wouldn't get involved with?
Of course, Mark, I resent that. I mean, listen to this, right? I once turned down a very lucrative job editing a horrible, seedy little effort for a shady underground subculture who live in a weird twilight world of ritualistic self-torture and dubious toilet habits.
Oh, dear, that sounds particularly nasty.
It was terrible, Mark. I feel unclean talking about it.
Oh, what was it called?
Caravanning for Caravanners Monthly.
Oh, you can't buy stuff like that over the counter, can you?
Yes, you can.
It's disgusting. Oh, I'm glad you brought that to our attention.
Right,
thanks a lot.
Bye.
See you, bye. Record of the week from Sparkle Horse. That's The Incidentals by Alicia's Attic. Welcome back, last half hour. Mark and Lard with you. Well, I'm here. He'd gone to the cars, of course, when something good's happening. In this half hour, he'll got the rundown on the Cheesy Cheerful Chart Challenge, in-depth reportage, and a Bryan Adams record. Oh, chock full of quality items, eh? At the cutting edge of youth culture. But here's an interesting thing. Dogged detective work by a police officer with an interest in military history led to a former US airman being charged with damaging a tree in Berkshire 53 years ago. The United States Air Force made its headquarters in the region during the Second World War. On the northwest side of the airfield was a grove of trees, including an oak, hazel, beech and sycamore, which the homesick airmen took to be an ideal canvas upon which to carve their names or initials. One airman in particular, Andrew Sully Scudmore, lived to regret the actions when, some 53 years later, he was tracked down by determined policeman P.C. Bout Nettertadoo in San Francisco, California, and was handed a charge sheet. Now then, at first glance, it would appear that this 5-decade chase is no more than a complete waste of taxpayers' time and resources. But think about it. Perhaps this is what Great Britain is great for, upholding the letter of the law and refusing to give in. Well, on the line now, I'm delighted to be joined by said sleuth. Are you there? P.C. Bout Nettertadoo.
Oh, Mark!
Oh, so you got there in the end then?
Oh, hi, Mark. Never give up. That's my motto.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did this evil criminal mastermind tree-carving yank bloke react when you turned up on the scene?
He couldn't believe his purdy blue eyes, Mark. And you know one thing, Mark? The timing could not have been better.
Why?
Well, I sneaked up behind the miscreant, and I put him in an arm lock, and I threw him over the body of his 57 convertible, and you'll never guess what fell out of his top pocket.
What? Tell me.
Only a packet of cigarette papers.
And
nothing, Mark. You know, well, you're a man of the world. I tell you what, that could quite easily mean that he's an evil pothead corrupting the American youth, couldn't it?
Well, yeah. It could also mean that he smokes his own roll-up cigs.
Whether it's that, but never give up, Mark. That's my motto. So, quick as you like, I had a tub of margarine, some rubber gloves, a bish-bosh, full body search, and if I may boast, Mark, it was well worth the effort.
Oh, I see. So you found drugs upon his person?
No, but it gave me peace of mind and it gave him a clear passage.
I beg your pardon. I mean, that's enough of that, if you don't mind.
No, Ma, no. It gave him a clear passage to Hawaii. You see, he was on his way there for a holiday, and should he have found cannabis, then he wouldn't have been able to go, would he? So I think he owes me one.
Right, I'm sure he'll give you one if he gets the chance.
What do you say?
Anyway, right, don't you think the whole escapade is a bit on the, shall we say, compulsive side?
Well, you call it compulsive, Mark, but I call it routine police work. I mean, I'm working on a case right now that has taken over 12 years, count 12 years. Right, but it's a crime has been committed, right, and someone has to pay.
Well, what's happened then?
Well, I was proceeding in a westerly direction along Wookfit Street.
What street was that?
I think I'll move on.
Right.
Where I happened upon a discarded polymer-coated pliable plastic packagette of confectionery consumables.
What the bleeding hell are you on about?
You know, a toffee wrapper.
Where?
On the floor! On the floor, right? That's breaking the law.
So have you made an arrest?
If only it was so simple, Mark. You see, it was no ordinary polymer-coated pliable plastic consumable...
Toffee wrapper?
Thanks, yeah. It was the only polymer toffee wrapper of a specialty bar.
A what?
Aha! See? I got you there, you see? That's why I'm a copper and you're not, mate.
Get on with it, for Pete's sake.
Well, after 4 years comprehensive research, I found the specialty bar to be a popular confectionery edible, very similar to a Mars bar, you know, glucose, toffee and thick chocolate. Anyway, it's only found in Mauritius.
Wow.
Yeah, and I am currently DNA testing 8 million Mauritians one by one, but I'll get the swine. I will, you know.
I bet you will.
Because you know my motto, Mark.
Yep. Never give up. All right, well, thanks for joining us. Am I getting the pronunciation of your name right? Perhaps you'd like to do it.
I am Officer Bout Netter to do.
Bout Netter to do.
Yeah.
Okay then, right. Thanks. And what was that street again?
Wookfit.
Oh, Wookfit Street.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
See ya.
Can't get better than a Wookfit fitter, can you? Oh, this is Brian Adams. From the Rush Hour with Love, that is Republica, and a new single from the Young Offenders coming very soon, but not before. We've had this out once and for all. It's 24 minutes past 3, right? This interesting thing. As you'll know, if you've been listening to this programme over the last hour or so, today's Cheesley Cheerful Chart Challenge has spotlighted the despicable practice of genetically mutating ladybirds into wingless creatures to aid farmers in their battle against aphids and other pests, which the ladybird feeds on. Now, I think we've already expressed some outrage at this despicable experimentation, but on the line now, I am less than delighted to be joined by the man behind this genetic jiggery-pokery. It's Brian Beevil Astard. Are you there, Brian?
Oh, Mark, I know, if I can stop you there, it's Brian. Not Brian, I'm French.
All right, Brian Beevil Astard.
Right.
Okay. Hello,
Right.
Brian. Yeah, now then, I mean, who the flipping heck do you think you are, eh? What gives you the right to mess about with Mother Nature, huh?
Yeah, the same old story. Listen here, Radcliffe. If it were left to the likes of you, we'd still be dragging women around by the hair and wearing bearskin underpants. You're living in the past, mate.
Don't give me that.
Yeah.
I'm all for technology moving on, but this is out of order.
But you'll be only too happy to reap the rewards of our hard work, won't you?
In what way?
Well, tell me, Mark, what annoys you most when you go for a walk in the park?
Well, I suppose it's like, you know, a dog poo all over the place. It's disgusting.
Right. Well, did you know, Mark, that we have genetically mutated a Great Dane which rules out that problem altogether?
You see, this is it. You mean you developed a dog which doesn't poo? That's terrible.
No. No, what we've done is bred this big fella to have his anus situated between his shoulders.
Sorry?
Well, listen to me, right? So when he has a dump, it rests between his shoulder blades until the dog gets home and drops it off in its own garden. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, dead clever. That means your own back garden gets rammed full of dog doos, doesn't it? That's not what you want, is it?
Ah, well, you see, that's where my newly bred Persian cat comes into the frame.
Don't get you. What's the cat got to do with it?
Well, you know, cats are fastidiously clean and they bury their own poo, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, this specially modified Persian buries any old poo it comes across. It's not fussy. It's a must for all caravanners and campers, I tell you.
I don't like cats.
Why?
Well, because they're always killing mice and bringing them into the house.
Not if it's one of my mice, it won't.
Why's that then, oh great one?
Because my mice are over 2 or 3 feet long, right, and wouldn't give a chuffing Alsatian run for its money, never mind a moggy.
A 3-foot long mouth?
Yeah.
That's my worst nightmare,
Why?
flipping. I mean, that'd be an ecological nightmare. They'll breed like rabbits, there'll be no stopping them.
Wrong!
What do you mean, wrong?
Well, Mother Nature always has a predator which will keep other animal populations under control. Now then, what animals, apart from cats, eat mice?
Well, birds of prey. You know, but I've yet to see a bird that could swoop down and carry a 3-foot rat away and eat it.
Well, what about an ostrich?
Well, that's ridiculous. Ostriches don't fly.
Not at the moment, granted, but give me a week or two.
No, I've had enough of this. Ta-ra, Brion, Bevel, Astar. All right, here is the new single from the Young Offenders. It's called Pink and Blue, and it's out on the 26th of October. The Incidentals, that's Alicia's Attic. It's 23 minutes past 3. We've still got a rundown on the Cheesley and the Spices Right to come before the end of the programme. Dave Pearce following, I beg your pardon, at 4 o'clock, of course. But here's an interesting thing. Dead Tidgy Squidge pop star Prince has been snubbed by trendy nightclub Springfellows. He got the knockback after asking the club if he could stage a one-off gig to rehearse for his world tour. The answer was no, because the club had already booked a troupe of topless dancers for the night he wanted. And can you believe that? I mean, Prince, or the artist formerly known as, if you like, being turned down just so a load of top-heavy go-go dancers can flash their norks at randy businessmen? Unbelievable. Who could make such a decision? Well, I'll tell you who could make such a decision. It was the club's silly booker, Jason Dillisick. Are you there, Jason?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, what on earth possess you, man?
Listen, Mark, this little divot rings up, right, and he don't even know me, right, and he says, hello, kid, it's the artist formerly known as Prince here. So I said to him, oh, aye, and it's a booking agent who quite literally couldn't give a gnat's chuffy, bog off. Now then, I would have thought that was laying my proverbial cards firmly on the table, but oh no, this pint-sized pillock rings straight back and says, do you know who I am? I said, no, I haven't a bleeding clue who you are now, but I know who you were formerly, and you're rotten, so bog off, cheese feet, and I've not heard from him since.
Are we talking about Prince?
Yeah.
You know, Sign of the Times, Little Red Corvette, all those things.
No, not interested. Listen, Mark, I know my business. Do you know who our clientele is? We have the creme de la creme of the show business world coming here. You can't expect the likes of that fat lass off Everdale to come in here and watch a pygmy in a leotard pouncing about, singing about some little red courgette.
Corvette?
Whatever!
So you're bonkers.
No, we're not bonkers. No, Bonkers Night Spot is just up the road. That's a right seedy little man's pit, that is. We're in a different league altogether, mate. They're still living in the 70s. Their booking policy is positively Dickensian. It's like Top of the Pops in 1974 in there. It's just laughable.
Why, who've they got on?
Oh, you won't believe. Stuff like Dave Bowie, Paul McCartney, Eric Clapton, Bee Gees, all the driftwood that can't get arrested on the chicken in the basket circuit. You'll find them all there, mate, and it's sad.
You reckon?
No, I know me onions. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mark. I like a bit of 70s club and myself, but you've got to be choosy, Mark.
Right, so who've you booked in then?
Well, tomorrow night we've got the Drifter.
The Drifter? Who's that then?
Well, he's the only surviving member of the Drifters. You remember them under the boardwalk and all that? And also, do you remember the Four Tops?
One of the great soul bands of all time. Have you got them?
Not all of them.
Well, how many have you got?
2.
The Two Tops? That's not very good, is it?
Well, it's better than that bloke out last Wednesday.
Who was that then?
The Jackson 1.
Jackson. What was the one of the Jackson 5?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
I think she said her name was Glenda.
Give me strength.
Now, don't be like that. Now, tell me, Mark, as a test, what's your favourite band of that ilk?
Well, from that era, I particularly like Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Oh, well, you see, now then, well, perhaps you should get your ass over here tonight, Mark.
Why, have you got them on? I thought they'd split up. Have you just, they split up, haven't they? Have you just got Gladys Knight?
Not exactly.
What, so you've just got the Pips?
Well, not all of them, obviously. Well, that'd be well pricey, buddy. I've got 2 of them.
Oh, that's better than now, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, so which 2 have you got?
Look, Mark, I'm sorry, but, I can't stop here all day talking to you on the telephone. If I don't get the sandwiches sorted, the artists are threatening to walk out. In fact, the Pips are going now. Hang on. Sorry, where you going there?
Hang on a minute.
What?
Has the whole of this interview been a setup for that tired old gag?
I'm afraid so, no.
Well, needs must. It is Friday after all, isn't it?
Yeah,
all right, see you, mate.
See you, mate.
Bye. Record of the week from Sparkle Hall. Originally by Tavares and now by 911. That is More Than a Woman. Right, it's coming up for 24 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing. It was a perfect excuse to a traffic policeman about to issue a ticket for a routine offence. You can't do that. I'm your dad. Carlos Twirlish Chat, a Los Angeles policeman, had heard bizarre excuses before, but when the motorist told him his first name and that of his mother, he was convinced. It turns out that Carlos has been looking for his estranged father for years, and this legal altercation was the lucky break he needed for a tearful reunion. Isn't it strange? One never knows what's around the corner in this strange and convoluted thing that we call life. And to prove it, I am delighted to be joined on the line now by the overjoyed motorbike cop. Carlos, are you there?
Oh, Mark!
Now then, what a fantastic turn of events.
Oh, Mark, I couldn't believe me. Look, I've been looking for him for years, and all of a sudden, up he pops in the strangest of circumstances. Best day of my life, mate.
So tell me, are the rest of your immediate family aware of the reunion?
Well, here's the thing, Mark, and all this was happening, right? My cousin Hank was passing by, and he crossed the road to see what was going on.
That was lucky.
Well, not for him, Mark.
Why?
Well, he only went and jaywalked, as brazen as you like. I always knew the low-life scum criminal. Anyway, I got a van and some of the lads out, he gave him a good kicking in an alleyway and did him for resisting arrest.
Well, he won't be jaywalking again in a hurry, will he?
No, Mark, he won't be jaywalking, walking, or crawling either, for that matter. That's not for a long time. He's scum, he is.
Have you told your mum about your dad yet?
Yes, Mark. I told my mother yesterday, and she went as white as a sheet.
What, with joy?
No, Mark, shock, I think. It was a bolt out of the blue.
Well, was she pleased?
Overjoyed, Mark.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I mean, with him turning up like that, it's going to have a big effect on her domestic life, you know.
Why, is she going to get back together with him?
No, but she'll probably get taken off death row, which would be nice.
Death row? Flippin' heck, who's she killed?
Well, Mark, as it turns out, no one. You see, when my dad went missing, I obviously had my mum down as a prime suspect, so I had her sent down. In fact, she was going to fry tomorrow night, but now, and all thanks to me, she's probably going to get away with it.
What do you mean get away with it? She obviously didn't do it.
Well, I want to know that, was
So, well, what evidence did you have to suggest that she did do
Oh,
it?
hang on, you see. Now, listen to this. I found a full set of fingerprints, right, on a large, sharp knife on the day he went missing.
Is that all?
No, also, I distinctly remember on the day of the disappearance, my dad had a premonition of a possible murder attempt on him by my mum.
Really? Why, what happened?
Well, my mum told me dad a joke about a donkey and a nun or something. Anyway, and my dad said to me mum, "You kill me, you do." Oh, it sends a chill down my spine to think about it, man.
I see. Well, that's pretty damning.
Yeah.
Where did you find the knife, then?
In the knife drawer. I have to say, it wasn't an open and shut case, but I did a bit of a creative police work with me and the lads, and we had a stitch up like a kipper.
This is unbelievable.
It gets worse, Mark. You know, my sister wouldn't talk to me. She said that if I didn't get her back with my mum, she'd disown me. It was a harrowing episode, Mark. Terrible.
And well deserved by the sound of it.
What?
And you obviously didn't manage to reunite her with your mum, did you?
Oh, contraire, Mark. I had them both in the same cell within a week, silly cow. And now I'm trying to get her off the hook as well. Honestly, it's just a nightmare.
Why, what's she in for?
Trying to bribe an officer of the law. It's a serious offence.
Bribe you with what?
A bag of sweets. But yeah, hang on a minute. To make it worse, right, Mark, she gave it to my youngest daughter, the crafty cow. I will not be bought, Mark. Nobody is above the law. So I'll bang the evil sow away for a long, long time.
But this is terrible.
Why?
You're a monster, but how's your mum? Is she looking forward to seeing her old flame, then?
Well, that's the other thing.
Go on.
Well, the day she gets out, my old fella's starting a 4-year stretch for making lewd and inappropriate advances to an officer of the law.
Why, what did he do?
Well, he gave me a big kiss on the cheek, like, and asked me out for dinner. He's a pervert.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, all right. Till now, mate. This is Talvin Singh. That's Natalie Imbruglia and Smoke. It's coming up at 24 minutes past 3, Mark and Lard on Radio 1. Here's an interesting thing. Model and Pamela Anderson lookalike Tamara Norsipple has 2 valves on her armpits, which allow her to inflate or deflate her breasts for highly paid personal appearances. To create the fuller Anderson-like curves, she simply blows up her norks and voila, job's a good un. Then off she pops home to do the dishes and dusting, bish bosh, down they go. Now then, this seems at first glance to be a quite grisly new addition to the realms of cosmetic surgery. We all know that boob jobs are quite commonplace now, but in this case, Mrs. Norsipple seems to want the best of both worlds. Up 1 minute, down the next. But on the other hand, look, we've got the technology, why not use it? After all, the only person she could conceivably harm is herself, and it's her body. Well, I'm delighted to be joined on the line now by one of the world's leading cosmetic surgeons. It's Dr. Mork Nanhandler. Are you there, Doctor?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, isn't this going just a little bit too far?
No, Mark. I mean, none of us are perfect, but we can now choose change if we like. Take this woman, this Tamara lady.
Yeah?
She's made an absolute fortune out of her new knockers, and in the process created a new job for someone.
How come?
Well, it's actually down to a design fault, Mark. You see, when we installed the breast valves under her armpits, we didn't think about the problem of inflation. You see, she can't reach the valve with her own lips.
Right.
So, it turns out that she had to get someone else to blow up her mammary glands using only good old-fashioned lung power.
I see.
Also, as with all inflatable mobile devices, they must adhere to the Ministry of Transport regulations.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Well, she has to ensure she uses a lower pressure when carrying a heavy load, and most importantly, have them balanced and aligned to prevent bulges and ball patches. The last thing she wants is a blowout, do you know what I mean?
Sounds painful.
Yeah.
So who's got this top job then?
Well, I'm getting my head round it at the moment, being an expert and all, you understand?
Of course, and how much does that cost then?
£20 a night.
£20 a night, that's not much, is it?
It's all I can afford, Mark.
Yes, very good, that old chestnut.
Yeah.
So, have you done any other work on this lady?
Oh, yes, Mark. She wanted bigger lips, you see. So I had her in last month, and in a brave new form of cosmetic jiggery-pokery, I took a slither of skin off each shin and grafted it to her upper and lower lips.
Really? I've never heard of that. So, was it a success?
Well, yes and no, Mark.
What do you mean?
Well, she's got massive lips, but she's like in desperate need of a shave or a waxing or something. She looks like bloody David Seaman at the moment. Thick black hairs all over her face. It's not good for business.
I'll bet.
No.
And surely that's conclusive proof that people like you shouldn't be messing around with Mother Nature. Body parts that inflate and deflate when you mess about with them, it's just not on.
Oh, give over, Mark. As an active feminist, I am merely redressing the balance.
What are you on about?
Well, Mark, the enlarging of body parts via oral manipulation is nothing new, is it? But till now, men have had the monopoly on it.
I'm sorry, mate, I just can't get my head around this one.
I know that's one of Mother Nature's other design faults as well, but I can help with that. I should have put you in for an operation.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'll get back to you on that one. All right, thanks for joining us, Doctor. Bye-bye. That's the Cardigans. And my favourite game. Good afternoon, this is Mark and Lard. Through with you till 4 o'clock, at which point it will be... I don't know, actually. Is it Clive, or is it Dangerous Dave? Anybody? It's Clive, I think, isn't it? Clive Warrington. Right, now, here's an interesting thing, right? Force's wartime sweetheart, Vera Lynn, was on a hit list drawn up by notorious terrorist Carlos the Jackal. Her name was found in his London flat in 1975, a new biography of the killer reveals. Bizarre or what? Dame Vera Lynn being shortlisted for an offing alongside world leaders and top political figures by the most infamous hired assassin of all time? Surely some mistake here. Well, as improbable as it sounds, I am now slightly nervous, and I'm about to be joined on the line from a high-security prison somewhere in Europe by the man himself. Are you there, Carlos the Jackal?
Oh, Mark, now then, before we go on, right, I'm not a jackal anymore, right? Now, the jackal bit was all about the fact that I was speedy and elusive, crafty and a bit on the airy side, and Plod couldn't catch me for love nor money, right? Now then, obviously I've been nicked since, and as a result I have no option but to change my nickname.
Fair point then. What's your new name?
Carlos the Tortoise. I'm not as fast as I was, you know.
Right, fair enough. Now then, so, notorious assassin and killer and terrorist, Carlos the Tortoise.
Yeah.
What's all this about you wanting to bump off Dame Vera Lynn? You can't do that, she's a sweet old lady. What on earth were you thinking about?
Well, Mark, you think about it, she was asking for it, wasn't she?
Well, I did read that you wanted to take her out because she was a symbol of the British Empire who personified the oppressive nature of the all-conquering colonialism and tyrannical empire building, which was the antithesis of your revolutionary socialist principles.
Well, Charlie, that was good, that. I wish I'd saw that. No, it had nothing to do with that.
What was it then?
That bloody voice of hers, it could strip enamel off your teeth at 20 yards, it's horrible. I tell you what, we'll meet again. I tell you what, I hope not, for her sake.
You can't be serious.
Why?
You wanted to bump Dame Vera Lynn off because you didn't like her voice?
Yeah.
That's despicable. But while you're on, who else was in your notorious little book?
Fidel Castro was one there, I remember that much.
Right, but he was also a socialist revolutionary, wasn't he? What did you have it in for him for?
Well, Mark, he was a bad influence on the whole Western Hemisphere.
What, you mean like whipping up anti-American feelings, causing instability in the world economy?
No, none of that, no. It was more to do with them combat trousers. You know them daft khaki pants with pockets on the side?
Oh, I've got some, yeah.
Right, well, he wore now. Else, Mark, you see, well, exactly, right? Now then, you'd see him popping out for a bolter with a wife, there he is, again, in them chuffing combat pants. So everybody starts wearing them, don't they? It was a nightmare for me. Even the bloody barmaids were wearing them. Now, for an international terrorist, that leads to terrible confusion.
How come?
Well, I didn't know who to trust, did I? One day, I gave a large cachet of hand grenades to a comrade in arms, or so I thought.
Yeah.
Only turns out to be that fast lass I was bullying All Saints. She was wearing them. I thought, look, cobblers to this. That Fidel fella, he's got to go.
I see. So, who's currently on top of your list then, Carlos the Tortoise?
Well, you know, Mark, there's these two divots on Radio 1, and they're absolutely asking for it.
Really? Why's that then?
Well, they keep disrespecting Savage Garden, right? And I love Savage Garden, I do. And if I get out of here, you're dead meat. You and your fat mate. Bang, bang. I know where you live. Well, I don't know where you live, but I'll find out. You're for it, you are. You mess with the garden, and you mess with the tortoise, right? You're dead meat, mate. I'm gonna have you. All right. Ta-ra.
I'm not scared of you, you divot. From Dave, Emma and Hiddy. They're coming round with a couscous and a pint of ale. Sounds very nice, doesn't it? That is Natalie Imbruglia and Smoke. It's 23 minutes past 3. And here's an interesting thing. The immortal phrase, Bond, James Bond, uttered by Sean Connery, was yesterday voted the greatest one-liner in film history. 007's introduction, when asked his name in the 1962 movie Dr. No, heads the list of top quotes, chosen by a panel of experts, a list that also includes Groucho Marx's great quip, "I could dance with you till the cows come home. On second thought, I'd rather dance with the cows till you come home." And inevitably included is Tom Hanks' "Life is like a box of chocolates" from Forrest Gump. Now, what immediately springs to mind here is, who says these are the top 10 film quotes? Who are these so-called experts? I mean, what one person may find witty and engaging, another might find dull and predictable. Ultimately, it's a futile exercise. Well, one man who does agree with me is top film critic and Radio 1's behind-the-scenes film consultant. It's Trevor Gillisett. Are you there, Trevor?
Hello, Mark!
Now then, this chart, what do you make of it then?
Pathetic, Mark. I mean, for these people to put the James Bond quote and put it in at number 1, it's laughable.
Mr. Gillisett, I agree. I mean, it's only an opinion, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, so tell me, Mark, what's your number 1 film quote?
Well, I'd probably say, you know, of all the gin joints in all the town, she has to walk into mine. Brilliant.
Yeah, Casanova. Now, it's a great film.
What, are you pulling my leg, Mr. Gillisett? It's Casablanca, innit?
Casablanca. No, I've heard of it. Just remind me.
Just remind me, strike a light. Bogart, innit?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, Dirk Bogart, of course it is.
Dirk Bogart, no, Dirk Bogart, it's a Humphrey Bogart, Casablanca.
Is it? Yeah, of course it is, yeah. Yeah, I've not seen it yet. Is it any good?
Is it any good? It's a classic, it's 50-odd years old.
Ah, no, well, right, yeah, that'll be right then. It's black and white, isn't it?
Yeah, black and white.
Well, you know, I don't really like black and white films. They're rubbish, aren't they? I mean, if they colour it up, I might have a butcher's, otherwise can't be arsed.
They're rubbish? What, all of them?
All of them. I mean, yeah, a bit of technical, that's what you want. Or I tell you what, 3D, Jaws 3D, yeah, that's the stuff. That's dripping with top one-liners.
Is it?
Oh, aye. I tell you what, there's this scene, right, where a great white shark is going to topple this boat, right, and the dialogue is absolutely fantastic.
Right, which bit's that then?
The bit where the top-heavy blonde shouts, "No, look at the size of that." Yeah, now you see, Mark, that is a well-written line. It's not too flowery and evokes both fear and compassion. That's the stuff you want. None of this, life is like a box of chocolates, cobblers. Life is not like a box of chocolates at all, is it, Mark? I just don't understand.
Well, I mean, as we said before, it's all a matter of opinion.
Well, that's right, Mark, but I'm right? I mean, it's like the supposed number 3 quote, right? Mae West, is it? It's not the men in your life that counts, it's the life in your men. I mean, what's that supposed to mean? It's just gobbledygook.
Well, it's not, is it? I mean, it means it doesn't matter who you go out with, it's how they, shall we say, perform that matters.
Maybe, but I mean, when you have to explain it because it's so complicated, it detracts from the quote. I mean, take the second best film quote, right, which only comes in at a poor number 8 in this experts chart.
Oh yeah, the Clark Gable Gone with the Wind classic.
That's the one. Yeah, to be honest, Frank, I couldn't give a
Whoa, that's not right.
What?
It should be, frankly, my dear, I couldn't give a damn.
Well, I'm paraphrasing, answer.
You can't paraphrase famous quotes. That defeats the object, you dullard.
You are. No, you've got me mad now, Radcliffe. And as Arnold Schwarzenegger famously threatens in the Terminator film, Asti Spumante, baby.
Yeah, right, I'm quaking in my boots.
Right.
Thanks very much for joining us, Trevor Gillisett.
I love him.
It's 24 minutes past 3, and here's an interesting thing. Lucky volunteers are being paid £60 to get legless on free booze. This new scheme has been introduced by the Australian Police Force in Perth to train young cadets how to deal with rowdy drunkards in the real world. Well, what a great idea. Some louts get bladdered for nout, and some green around the gills would-be bobbies get to manhandle some miscreants. But hang on a minute, is this a new idea? I don't think so. In fact, I don't know so, or I do know so, because joining me on the line now is Police Superintendent Jack Blastinida, who claims to have been introducing this and many other revolutionary changes for over 10 years now. Are you there, Jack Blastinida?
Hello, Mark! Mark.
Now then, Police Superintendent Blastinida, all is not what it seems then.
Well, that's right, Mark. I started all this malarkey years ago. It was all my idea.
Right, that's sorted.
Yeah.
But to continue as a training method, did it work?
Oh, yes, Mark. We had several schemes up and running, all great successes.
Like what?
Well, like the famous Arsenal method.
What was that then?
Well, we get 20 squaddies to go to the Arsenal matches every week and let them get their hands dirty, figuratively speaking, of course.
What, dealing with rowdy drunkards?
That's right, Mark.
What, mixing it with the serial drinkers, the lager louts, the men that give football a bad name?
Yeah, the Merson and Adams, I think they were called. Yeah, although I believe they've both calmed down a bit now. But I tell you, we've trained up to over 200 cadets with the help of them to invaluable service to the community.
I see, and what other schemes did you invent?
Well, we had that one where I had 25 of the lads on the tail of Roald Dahl. It was years ago, that was.
Roald Dahl?
Yeah.
What good would that do him?
Well, they all learned how to craft believable and plausible fairy tales.
Did that stand them in good stead?
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, some of them ended up working for the West Midlands Serious Crime Squad.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, my brave training techniques have changed the whole nature of police work, Mark. I mean, particularly our new, and some would say, boldest initiative.
What's that then?
Well, we administer one dose of a truth drug to each cadet every morning to get them into the habit of telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but that their truth.
Oh, very good, yeah. Have you got such a cadet there with you at the moment?
Yeah, Mark, hang on a minute, I'll put him on. Hello, Mark!
Hello, now then, you've just arrested me. Go on, do your worst.
You're nicked, and anything you say may be taken down and used in evidence against you in a court of law. Anything you refuse to say may result in you accidentally falling down a flight of stairs. And oops-a-daisy-maisy, watch that door, Sonny Jim. If you do not sign a confession, we will gladly sign one for you. And be aware those bad electrical wires. Oh, and you should see a doctor. Oh, and if you do not have one...
Well, that sounds like it's working a treat, doesn't it?